Alrighty, Sam. We are live for the final week of the NFL season.
Let's
A
go.
lot of things going on today that I think are super interesting to kind of watch and monitor over the course of the week or the day. Gonna mute that YouTube stream because I just heard myself twice and that threw me for a loop. Okay, couple things that are really interesting. Sam, the Jets have the chance to do something historic today since they have begun tracking the interception stat. I believe it's 1933. No team has gone an entire NFL season without recording a single interception. The Jets have the opportunity to do that today. Now they are playing the Buffalo Bills. They are playing the quarterback who has more turnovers since he entered the league than anybody else in the NFL, in Josh Allen. So there's a chance, but I saw that stat. I think AJ shared it. I looked at this. I'm like, that can't be fucking real. I read
Dude,
through it. I looked up some stats. I looked at the historical database. It's real, dude. It is 100% true. They have a chance to be the first team in history. No interceptions full season.
my first reaction was like, wait a second, is Justin Fields only throwing like 4 passes a game? And so they haven't actually thrown any picks this year? No, of course. Of course, it's them not catching any interceptions, as is tradition for the Jets in an elongated season where it should be easier than it has been in all of history to get an interception in a passing league when people are throwing more balls per game as well than ever in history. And yet they find a way to defy the odds.
Doesn't
But
help that they
congratulations.
sent away, their only corner, their top two
That's right.
defensive players. The Jets always finding new ways to create history in the most depressing of ways. The other record that is on the line today was the same record that was on the line last week. It is Myles Garrett requiring just one sack to beat the all-time record. He got the half sack last week. It put him in a position now to no longer just tie TJ Watt and Michael Strahan. He has the opportunity to now surpass them with a single sack today. He is playing the Cincinnati Bengals, a team whose O-line is the 5 or 6 people that have already jumped in and said hello in the chat. That is there are not professional players. They are
Collectively, boys.
O-line and name only. Myles Garrett needs a single sack. I saw something last week. People already giving us predictions. We haven't said anything yet. You guys are not wrong. We are going to go in that direction. But I saw something last week that said Myles Garrett is getting the Megatron treatment, the Calvin Johnson treatment, the 2 or 3 or 4 guys. We don't even care about winning the game, is what Myles Garrett said about the Pittsburgh Steelers last week. All they cared about was stopping him from getting that sack. I don't think it matters. I don't think matters if you game plan today. Myles Garrett is getting that sack, at least from my perspective today against Cincinnati Bengals. I don't think that it can stop them. On that note, we're going to introduce our first 2 predictions over the course of the day today, both of them. It will be yes or no. Do the Jets record an interception today? I want to see yes Jets, no Jets in the YouTube chat. If you're watching this on X, if you're watching this on the FDF account, if you're watching this in the FDF app, go to YouTube, Sam Stefanina, and find it. I want yes Jets, no Jets. Will they record that interception today, or do they go down in history as the only team ever to not have an interception on a regular season? The second prediction that will run over the course of the day is, does Myles Garrett break the sack record? Yes, Garrett. No, Garrett. We will be monitoring. Again, if you're watching it anywhere other than YouTube, head to the YouTube chat, post it there. Sam, what a crazy day. We only have 6 games today.
We only have 6 games, but one of the most interesting games of the entire year is going to be this Saints-Falcons game, to be honest, because in the balance is the Bucks and the Panthers playoff hopes. I see Mount Doji already linking a post of his predictions on today's game. He's taking New Orleans plus 3.5 at 52 cents. You know, the reason that I'm worried about that bet, to be honest, is Alvin Kamara out, Chris Olave out. So who is Tyler Shuck throwing the ball to?
Yeah.
Who is Tyler Shuck handing the ball off to? And the Falcons are playing pretty well. Now, in the balance, though, is also Kirk Cousins and one of the best defensive players. Both woke up with an illness, apparently, supposedly. But
A lot of
they're going to
illnesses
be
going
playing.
around the NFL this week, Sam. I think that's Theo Johnson is out with an illness, and he was at the Knicks game last night. We saw Max Crosby come down with an illness. There's a whole lot of players on really terrible teams leading into week 18 that seem to have gotten sick all at the same time.
Yeah, just a little tickle in the back of the throat that says, "I don't want to tear an ACL in week 18 in a game that
Dude,
doesn't matter."
I guess like the illness is the one thing the NFL is not going to push. They're like, oh yeah, you're sick.
Mm.
Oh, we can't lie to you. You can't say you got a broken leg or you've got an injured ankle because they're gonna look into that, right? And we already saw some drama earlier in the year with Lamar Jackson being on the injury report, then being removed from the injury report. But one thing you can't hide or can't lie about is apparently you can lie pretty easily about being sick because 15, 16 players across the league, all on teams who are suspiciously in the top 5 for next year's draft, all getting sick all at the same time.
Man, you know, you spoke about history with the Jets. This one doesn't quite go back to 1933, but another piece of history that we saw last week. The Vikings won a game with 3 net passing yards. Okay,
Yeah.
now they did throw for 51 yards, but they also lost 48 on sacks, which means they netted 3, which is the fewest in any Vikings win in franchise history and the lowest by any NFL team since the Seahawks managed to only have 2 yards in a win back in 1983. Now they also won the game by 13 points, which
Wait,
made
they had
them
2
the
net
5th
yards and won
team.
by 13?
They won by 13 with 3 passing yards. How insane is that?
And this was the 50s, dude. This wasn't like the 1920s when 11 teams played in the NFL and the forward
Yeah,
pass was illegal. This was an era where you could pass the ball, yeah?
yeah, and I
Insane.
mean, dude, this is like Justin Jefferson. Being stuck on this offense is like Picasso painting fences, dude.
Yeah, dude. Oh
This is
my.
crazy.
We said this last week, and we're gonna get into lines in a second here, but you just gave me PTSD. I see the NFL chat on Sport.Fun's Discord also chatting about this. Justin Jefferson, man, it's got to get out of there. Him, Jordan Addison, Jalen Naylor, they have 3 really talented wide receivers, guys who are in Addison and Naylor, wide receiver 2 on most teams, wide receiver 3 at the absolute worst, but they're playing on every team in the NFL. They had Sam Darnold last year. They had Daniel Jones last year. They decided to let both of those guys walk because they thought
Crazy.
9 was going to be the future of that team. 9's got to get out of there. 9 is done. He's played his 9 games. We can send him home. Max Brosner is a quarterback in name only. That guy is terrible. He doesn't know what team he's passing to. And Jefferson is still just shy of 1,000 yards, and I think he has a chance to put up 1,000 yards this year, which would just be Herculean feat, man. 947 yards, only 53 yards away from breaking the 1K mark. We've seen them only throw 3 yards in a season so far. And the crazy thing is, prior to this season, he's a guy who was literally outpacing Randy Moss to start his career
Jesus.
in yards per game and yards per season, and is now looking pedestrian because of some of the quarterbacks that he's got. Absolutely insane. On that note, over to the lines. Anything here jump out at you today, Sam? Wow, these lines, I have not looked at this yet. These are disgusting. Look at this.
Yeah, can we get a single game that's kind of close? You know, there's a couple that I was looking at. I think Dallas to win by 3.5. Not one of the ones that we have up here. I was also looking at Jacksonville taking the spread, which I think was 13.5. A little bit tough to stomach that with a team that hasn't been particularly consistent over the past let's call it 2 decades. but but I'm tempted because they're on a severe hot streak. We have Trevor Lawrence throwing for the most touchdowns in the league over the past 6 games. We have a team in the Titans that's starting to look a little bit better, but certainly nowhere near as good as the Jacksonville Jaguars have looked. And most importantly, I believe the Jaguars are trying to play for the 2nd seed, so they're actually incentivized to win this game and not just kind of flounder their way through it. So I am tempted there. I didn't put money on it, but it was the one that I was the most intrigued about. The other one that I found was interesting is the Cowboys at 3.5. I think that that's pretty reasonable to take because Dallas is most likely going to put at least 30 points up on these guys, and most likely the Giants aren't going to be able to keep up with that.
We we got 2 things that came up. Andy, yes, it is so when they lose, they get a better draft pick, they get higher placement in that draft order. those picks, especially at the top, especially next year in the 2026 draft, or this year, I guess now. There are really only two quarterbacks at the top of that draft that people are looking for. If you're a team like the Giants, who has a quarterback and has the first overall pick, you get whatever you want for it. So these teams are definitely trying to tank. Crypto Blockden is mentioning, Sam, that game that you brought up earlier where the team won with just 2 passing yards was in a dome. It was not in weather. It was not outside. It was in a dome, which is hilarious. Okay, couple of lines that are really
Crazy.
interesting to me here. The New York Jets at 41, or the Giants here at 41%, seems wildly high for a number of reasons. This is a team that is
Yeah.
actively trying to lose. We just mentioned this. If the Giants lose today and the Raiders win, the Giants will have first overall pick in the NFL draft in 2026. That pick is going to be worth more than maybe any first overall pick that we have seen in the last 25 years for two reasons. One, Fernando Mendoza looks really good at Indiana. He is leading that team potentially to a national championship. But two, the Giants have a quarterback. They've got a guy that they like. And that means that they don't need that pick. They can trade
Yeah.
down to a quarterback desperate team and take a king's ransom. That game is interesting to me, and I am slamming Dallas at 59% because that just feels way too close. It is the closest game that we have on this spread right now. That is disgusting to me. I just don't see that happening. The Giants are a team who's actively trying to lose. They should not be at higher odds than teams who are presumably trying to win. One of the
Yeah, a
game.
couple
So go ahead.
quick ones on that. Sorry, before you move on. One, we've talked about this the last couple of weeks. Dak Prescott looking for the passing lead. He wants to lead the league in passing at the end of the year. We also have Cowboys 4-2 against the spread on the road. They're on the road this week, and then they also, the Giants have the 28th ranked passing secondary, and so I think that that all leads to a Dallas offensive show.
Yeah, could not agree more. I want to bring up the Colts Texans game as well as the where is the game? Oh, we got it right here in the top right. Cleveland Cincinnati. Okay, I actually think Cincy at 78% is a little ridiculous given the strength of the Cleveland Browns defense, the issue that Cleveland has had on the defensive side of the ball, the fact that Shadur Sanders and co frankly are probably playing for the right to be the starting quarterback week 1 next year. A bad showing here to close the year out, I think, has to make Cleveland think maybe we draft another quarterback in 2026, especially because we have some of those picks. So for me, this feels like a little bit of a trap game. I think that should be a lot tighter. I think the Myles Garrett sack record, I don't think he gets one. I think he gets many today. And I think that will help turn the tide in favor of the Browns. The other game that was really interesting to me here is Houston versus Indianapolis. There's not a whole lot here to be played for. Jacksonville and Houston are playing for the division. Both of those teams are pretty tight, but you're already sitting Nico Collins. Jacksonville has a game in hand. To me, this feels like the Texans don't really care what happens. It's not really possible for them to drop out of the 6th seed. If they do, they drop to the 7th seed. They go to New England. They're currently going to be playing Jacksonville. To me, this feels like a game that doesn't matter a whole lot to the Texans. So I think that this number should be closer as well. I think that these two spreads are just way too far apart.
You know, one of the spreads that I thought was pretty egregious, the Vikings, 9.5 point favorites against the Packers, who are sitting Jordan Love. I haven't seen anything from the Vikings that would make me want them to be 9.5 point favorites in basically any circumstance on planet Earth. What do you think about this one?
I think Malik Willis is the best quarterback on the Vikings by a country mile. And I think starting Malik Willis with nobody else is still a team that I'm taking 11 out of 10 times. So for me, it's crazy. This is actually absurd. 80. I didn't realize this. Now that I'm looking at this line,
Isn't that crazy?
you know what? I think what ended up happening was my brain just looked at this and assumed that Vikings line was Green Bay.
Yeah,
Um,
dude, the exact same thing happened to me. I had to double check like 3 times.
This is so crazy that I'm opening up Kalshi right now and I'm going to be placing a bet because I did not realize that was the case. And that seems stupid to me. Malik Willis is
Dude,
playing, right?
it's even more egregious now. 13.5 for the Vikings on Kalshi right now. 13.5. That's insane. I don't know, honestly. I think
I'm
that
searching. I'm dumb.
the
I'm
Packers
dumbfounded right now.
I'm pretty sure Clayton Tune is playing quarterback, not
Okay.
Malik Willis.
Okay.
So, I don't know how deep this goes. We might have to do some research on, like, are they playing exclusively 3rd and 4th stringers? Because that's the only world in which this makes even a modicum of sense. But even then, do you trust the Vikings to win by 2 touchdowns against a division rival, a notorious division rival where games are always chaotic and messy?
I'll tell you what,
I don't
man.
know,
I
man.
don't know much about Clayton Tune, but I tell you that I like him better than the two guys who play quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings. So this guy has, I'm looking at his stats right now. He has a total of 17 games played, one game started, a total number of 27 attempts over 3 years. I'm rolling him out over nine and Brosmer.
I just made this my single biggest bet of the week. Yeah, some other numbers for Clayton. Our boy has thrown 4 passes this year. He is 1 for 4, and one of them was an interception. So that's how much we believe in the Vikings that we're taking our boy Clayton, but 13 and a half is massive. And I think there's a very high chance that this is a turnover slop fest. There's a high chance that Green Bay's defense is even able to score a touchdown off of one of those infamous Brosmer balls that we've been speaking so much about. We'll see. We'll
So
see.
we do have a couple of updates today that I wanted to just chat about really quickly as it pertains to FDF. So those of you who are watching, a couple big player names that are out. Kamara out. Esteem is in. Olave out. Sam alluded to both of these earlier. Kevin Austin will be taking a spot on FDF. Nico Collins is out. Jaden Higgins is the next man up. Josh Jacobs is out. Manuel Wilson, next man up. Javonte Williams is out. Jaden Blue is the next man up. Javonte Williams actually moved to IR. His season is done. Jaden Blue is a guy who had a lot of hype coming into the year, just could not get touches behind Javonte. So will be interesting to watch that as well as that plays out.
We also have a prediction from friend of the show, Oliver Maroney. He says that Travis Kelce is going to be the #1 tight end of the day. Bold move with no Patrick Mahomes, not much to play for. But Travis Kelce isn't even going to break 800 yards on the season this
That's
year.
crazy.
Most likely. Pretty tough. Is it time for Kelce to retire? What do you think?
Listen, man, I think his brother made the mistake of going 1 year too long, and I think he's
Mm,
admitted that as much on their podcast. I think walking out after Super Bowl win, probably the right time. Coming back and not doing well probably left a sour taste in the mouth of Jason Kelsey. Obviously, if he stayed 2 more years, he would have won another ring. But I think Travis has already made that mistake. I think, you lost to the Eagles last year. You didn't make the playoffs this year. I think at this point, it almost feels like you've stayed so long, you might as well give it one more go with Patton and have one chance to win something, bounce back year, something like that. To me, it just feels like it would be a sad end to a legendary career, a career that probably the second or third best tight end who's ever played the game. That being said, last week, that broadcast crew in the Chiefs game knew something that you and I clearly do not know because Tony Gonzalez had a special with them. Tony Gonzalez, of course, probably the best tight
mm.
end who's ever played the game. Sat down with him, talked about his career. You saw the four guys on the booth in Whitworth, in Ryan Fitzpatrick, and Richard Sherman, and Tony Gonzalez talking about the career that Kelce has had because it was his last home game. I don't know, man. My gut says he retires, but my heart says you probably should come back, play one more year, and go out swinging because it feels like you're going out limping this year.
As much as I want to agree with you, dude's 36 in a position that's notoriously hard on your body. You got to block
Yeah.
a lot of the game, which I don't think people realize very often. You take big hits because you're always going down the middle of the field. He's won 3 rings, and off the field, his fame is exploding at even a faster rate than
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes' ACL exploded. And it's a perfect excuse for him to say, "Sorry, Pat, I love you, buddy, but I'm smashing a billionaire pop star.
Yeah.
I'm not blocking for third string quarterbacks. It's been real. And good luck next year." I think Kelsey's going to hang it up. Like you were saying, those interviews, they scream Kobe Bryant retirement tour. You remember
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Where like every game he had like a mid game half court, like some sort of weird celebration and videos were playing all the time. It was so weird.
It was strange, dude. Fuck. it's hard to disagree with the logic that you just produced, but I don't know, man. I like to see these guys go out on top. I think Tom stayed too long. I think Jason stayed too long. These legends of the games try, but I think it's one too many. One really quick thing, and then the games are just about to start. I want to give you guys just a quick update. This was posted on December 30th. I admittedly had missed this because I was away for holidays, but quick update on the playoff situation for FDF. So playoffs will run as normal game weeks. I'm bringing this up on the side here. Includes TP prize pool remaining the same as standard weeks, so there will be no nerf to the rewards available to you over the next few weeks in the playoffs. Same number of rewards per position, same number of breakdown distribution logic. If there are fewer eligible players than reward positions, the excess reward position will roll into bonus TP for the off season. So if there are two quarterbacks playing, that third quarterback that comes in that spot will then be rolled into bonus TP. It will not be distributed to quarterbacks in that particular pool. So there is lots to play for over the course of the next 3 or 4 weeks. Regular season ends today. Playoffs start next week. The TP will be available at the same output rate over the course of the next 3 weeks for the playoffs. So lots to play for in the NFL season.
Yeah, I love that, man. One more note on Kelsey. Well, two more notes actually. Shout out to Oliver Maroney once again. He says potentially his last game, and he's only 50 yards away from Jason Witten, legendary
Yeah.
Cowboys tight end. So that could be some motivation. But Gardner Minshew out for the season, so Chris Oladukin is throwing the ball for him again. We'll see if they just try to drive the offense through Kelsey so that he can potentially break that record, but not loving the odds on that one myself. However, that is some good bait. I would say, hey, if it's gonna happen, why not this game where it doesn't really matter at the end of the day? I see Icy Ace Gaspode. Oh, Gaspode even reposting the stream on X. Appreciate that, guys. If you're wanting to make some predictions, just a quick reminder: join us on YouTube. I'll repost the link on the Twitter streams so that you can find it. We need it to be on YouTube because YouTube is the only one that preserves the chats. So click that link. Give us your predictions for one. Are the Jets going to get an interception today? Because it would be their first of the year for 17 consecutive games. They have avoided catching a ball, which is somehow not surprising. And then, secondarily, yes or no on Myles Garrett breaking the sack record. He only needs one in order to do it. The guy's sitting at 22 right now. Drop your predictions in the chat. Let us know what it's for. Yes, Jets, no Jets. Yes, Garrett, no Garrett. Appreciate that. And I see the Saints and Falcons now kicking off again, probably the most interesting game of the early window because the Falcons and Saints both have a chance here to play spoiler. If the Falcons win, the Panthers are in, and if the Saints win, the Bucks are in. There's a great moment after the Bucks game yesterday where the sideline reporter goes, "Hey Baker, you said you don't really like the Saints too much. What do you think about tomorrow?" He goes, "I'm a Saints fan."
Man, listen. So, if you're confused about why Sam just said what he said, there is a weird quirk of the NFL schedule in which the Falcons can finish 8-9 today. If the Falcons finish 8-9, there's a three-way tie for first place. The tiebreakers would then go to Carolina Panthers, who lost yesterday to the Bucks. But if the Saints win, the Falcons end up in third place, a standalone. The Panthers and the Bucks are tied in first, and the Bucks will advance to the playoffs. So both of those teams sitting at home, Falcons, or rather, the Panthers are big Falcon fans today. The Bucks, big Saints fan, and right on cue, it looks like Chase Young comes down with a sack. Oh man,
After that
that was
absolutely
close.
monstrous play last week. Disgusting.
Oh, Joe
Oh, is
Burrow.
Dalton already?
Oh, is it
Or sorry,
Dalton?
yeah, Joe Burrow.
Wait,
God,
who is it? It
Andy
is
Dalton.
Burrow.
I'm in a fucking time machine.
Dude, I was like, who the fuck? Myles Garrett almost gets that sack there.
Joe Burrow, is he okay? Is possibly
Oh,
going to shake up the odds quite a bit here if he just blew a knee.
oh, dude, that does not look good. What is the chat saying?
Yeah, that's huge. I mean, if in the first quarter Joe Burrow goes down, you have to imagine that the odds in that game are going to shift by at least 5 or 6 points. right
I
off the
love
bat.
this new Houston Texans logo. Oh my god. All right, we're gonna have to,
Wide open.
dude. We already have a candidate for catch of the day. Probably gonna go down as catch of the day. I'll pull this up on Reddit as soon as it is available. But Dalton Schultz with a disgusting one hand pass or one hand catch rather.
One hand pass. Contrary to the usual two-hand pass that we see
Yeah.
out of most quarterbacks.
Oh,
Can
this
you
is
zoom in on the odds here on Cleveland Browns and Cincinnati? Or is that the week long that we're looking at? Because I want to see what happens if there's a major spike after that first
yeah.
drive.
This is currently the week long. So normally the Kalshi charts will update. You'll see the score. That's just Kalshi pushing through. But this is week long leading in.
Who you got in this Saints Falcons game? Do you think there's any chance that the Saints win with Alvin Kamara and Chris Olave, their two best offensive weapons out?
When you're looking at two bad teams, I go, who's got the best quarterback? And to me, Tyler Shuck is clearly the best quarterback playing in that game. So I
Fair.
feel really good about him. I think Shuck, I've said this a number of times over the course of the year. I think Shuck's the best rookie quarterback out of this draft class. So I love the guy. I think he's a pure pocket passer. He's somebody who likes to chuck it downfield and looks good. Old, though. He's an old rookie. He's like 26 years old or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. Shout out to the Browns, who I think had a 28-year-old rookie. Um,
Brandon Whedon.
Insanely ugly drive opening up from the Jags. 3rd and 28, and Trevor Lawrence throws a dirt ball. So we'll see if they're able to bounce back from that one.
We got an interesting little tidbit come up today. The Dolphins have to allow 3 fewer points than the Falcons today for Bradley Chubb to get a $5 million performance bonus. So Chubb met the 8.5 sacks. He met the 72% of defensive snaps. But the only thing he has not met is the Dolphins have to place in the top 20 in points allowed. They are currently 21st in points allowed with 2 more points than the Falcons. So if they finish today with 3 points less than the Falcons, Bradley Chubb gets a $5 million payday. That is a ridiculous thing to put in the incentives. Max, oh my God. JJ McCarthy, really good at trucking, really good at stiff arming, really good at getting unsportsmanlike conduct penalties, but not so good at throwing the football. Putting his hands up like, what did I do after staring down 2 players?
That's so funny, man.
Makes
That's so
one
funny. The
play.
egos on quarterbacks, dude. To be like, yeah, these rules don't apply to me.
Dude,
I'm
JJ
I'm a
McCarthy
quarterback.
with the only good play he's had all year long, and he ruins
I
it
stiff
by
arm.
getting unsportsmanlike.
Incredible. Dude, that Bradley Chubb stat is insane. Like you said, absolutely hilarious that they would have that kind of stipulation inside of a contract, and also a $5 million incentive. We hear all the time about 100K, maybe 250K, maybe 500K, sometimes a million, but a $5 million. This is
Yeah.
essentially a three-way parlay that he put
Yeah.
into a
Yeah.
contract.
Yeah.
That's amazing, man. Texans get on the board. Vikes are going to try to kick a field goal.
They hit it.
Nail it. All right. 13 and a half. Let's see. Bradley Chubb, 5 mil. I mean, even whenever you make as much money as Bradley Chubb has made over his career, it's still got to do something to you to have 5 mil on the
On
line for
something that
that
you
game.
really, like, honestly can't control.
Yeah, in a lot of ways.
If you're watching,
Falcons going for it.
we're going to
4th and
introduce
3.
another one right now as we're talking. Sam and I have talked a few times now about the importance of this Saints Falcons game. We are going to say, predict who is leading the Saints Falcon game by the end of the first quarter. If it is a 0-0 or otherwise a tie, we will go default to halftime. So say it, Saints, Falcons, which team is leading at the end of the first quarter? That will be another opportunity to win a pack today.
Yeah, I love that one. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to go ahead and say I think the Falcons are going to be leading at the end of the first. What do you take, Knock?
I will say I think it will be the Saints. I don't know, man. I just believe in Shuck. I think it'll be the Saints.
Believes in Shuck. I believe that Shuck has been mostly a second half quarterback, but he does look good sometimes. I just don't know who else is the guy throwing to, man.
Yeah, I
Who
know.
else has he got over there? Jesus. Certainly nobody I know the name of. The Titans already in the red zone, man. This is why I didn't want to touch this game with a 10-foot pole. I don't know. Some black magic happening
Dude,
over in Tennessee.
they're circling Miles Garrett. Oh no, this is the Bengals. Who's in
Oh,
today?
fumble. Bengals are going to take over in the red zone already. Sorry, what was your question, Doc? Who's at
Who's the
quarterback?
quarterback today for the Browns? Is it Shadur?
I don't think it is. Let me double check.
It looks like it.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought I saw a jersey with a single digit, so I was second guessing it, but could be
No, it was 12.
him.
Yeah, it was him.
Ooh, some good splits here. I got Falcons, Falcons, Saints, Saints, Falcons, Falcons, Saints, Falcons, Saints, Saints. Beautiful, man. I love a good 50-50. As a reminder, guys, if especially on some of these where it's just either or, whenever there's a lot of correct answers, what we'll do is in the background we'll use like a wheel or something to randomize who's going to get the packs. If we can, we'll get multiple winners for you guys so that we can spread the love. Really appreciate all those predictions. Bunch of fun ones today with Miles Garrett and the Jets interception record. Oh, and the Saints get an absolutely ridiculous interception from a defensive
Is that
lineman
Chase
in the
Young?
red zone.
No.
I I don't know who that is, to be honest. It's not Cam Jordan or Chase Young, so therefore I don't know.
That's fair. Granderson.
the, the only other player I know on the Saints has arguably the most ridiculous Key and Peele inspired name in the history of the NFL, which is, you guessed it, Kool-Aid McKinstry.
What a wild name, dude. Do you remember
Insane,
Haha
dude.
Clinton Dix? Safety
Clinton Dix,
for the Packers.
another personal favorite is
Dude,
the Brickashaw
there's a
Ferguson.
kid, DeBrickshaw Ferguson. There's a kid in the NCAA whose name is General Booty. Just truly the craziest name.
Oh, dude, an underrated one. People don't seem to take to this one, but as a Steelers fan, I got to shout out Juju Smith-Schuster.
Yeah.
Oh
Wow,
man,
big turnover in the Cowboys game there. It looks like Dak fumbles that snap.
Steve saying, "Good to see Sam back at home. Those banana curtains were hurting my eyes." Yeah, dude, that bedroom I was stuck in last week was a little bit tough.
It
I
was very
appreciate you guys.
Steelers themed.
Yeah. Oh man.
All right, we have a pretty ridiculous FDF line that I kind of want to just walk through. So here's how we're starting this week. Baker Mayfield, of course, played yesterday, sitting in first. The next man up is Dak Prescott with negative points, which really, to me, should mean that Jordan Love, even though he's not playing, should be higher, right? Negative points can't put you second on the leaderboard just because you've played. Earning a 1.6K TP off of a guy who hasn't even scored no points is pretty hilarious. Kittle came into the day at 7.9. Kenneth Walker and CMC, of course, have already played. Chase Brown is playing today. He's sitting there at 8.5 points, already climbing into that top 5, just outside of Bucky Irving in third place. And then JSN, Tetaroa McMillan, 1 and 2. What's interesting here, though, Justin Jefferson, first 5 minutes of this game, already 7 points off of that long bomb from JJ McCarthy, sitting in third spot.
Chase Brown has been absolutely electric in fantasy over the past few weeks, dominating FDF.
Yeah, too bad he didn't do anything for me in my regular season.
Yeah, tough. Late season, especially whenever Burrow came in, seemed like he really turned it on. I want to ask the chat, any other crazy NFL names that stick out to you guys? I find this to be one of the funniest things whenever you see a just absolutely insane name that becomes normalized because you just hear it for like a decade, but then, then you think about it again. It's absurd.
Steve Adler saying Alec Pierce touchdown. Colts have taken the lead in that game.
Massive blown coverage from the Texans defense. He was on an island by himself.
Alec Pierce actually leading the league in yards per reception, an all-time stat as well. Sounds like the entire fire department is outside of my house right now. Do you hear this?
Yeah, oh, it's hard to miss, brother.
Hold on,
Knock
hold on.
is
We're gonna
currently
mute my mic for a second here.
Andy Mack saying, "I went to school with a guy named Richard Head," which of course, would be short. The short name would be Dickhead, which is incredible.
There's a guy in college basketball named Richard Johnson. His name is Dick Dick.
Oh,
Oh
it's
yeah,
so
so this is
good,
Riley
man.
Leonard's first pass of the game or first career touchdown pass. 66 yards. This ball probably travels 50 yards in the air. Kind
That
of
was a
wild.
freaking dime, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, it was kind of a bad pass, but it was such a
Yeah.
wide open coverage
Here, look at this. We'll
and
we'll
managed
watch
to
this
be
again.
incredible. Yeah.
It's kind of behind him.
Yeah, it's kind of behind him and to the outside shoulder, which is definitely not ideal whenever you're streaking down the field with
Pierce
no
is
one
going
in
to be
front
an
of you.
interesting guy to watch this offseason. Somebody who I think will be on FDF next year, but he is about to hit 1,000 yards this year. He's leading the league in yards per reception. He's got an all-time pace in the yards per reception. He's also 24 years old, 6'4", and runs a 4.5 40. Is a
That's
free
great.
agent in this offseason. He's probably going to get paid $20-30 million next year. You'd have to imagine. He's a specialist, but he is one of the best in the league at it. Here's Cam Ward.
You think
So go ahead.
you think the Colts are willing to pay that 20?
I think that I think the addition of Tyler Warren makes that conversation a little trickier. I would prefer you pay Alec Pierce, you let Michael Pittman walk, you roll with Alec Pierce, Josh Downs, and Tyler Warren, and you hope to replace him in the draft. That's my preferred outtake. I love Pittman. I think he's a dog, but he's a possession receiver. He's not somebody who changes the game. Alec Pierce now many times over the course of the year has changed the outlook of a game. Here's Shadur Sanders. This is that earlier strip sack where he loses the ball. And here is JJ McCarthy. So if you missed this, I want to share this. This is McCarthy stiff arming, trucking a defender, getting into it with the ref, and getting a flag. There's the stiff arm. Insane. Here's the truck. Insane. Absolutely idiotic behavior. Throws the ball at the ref, gets a flag. Stupidity. Cam Ward looks to be going into the locker room. So he was shaken up at the end of that play. I'll kind of bring that back up. Was shaken up at the end of that play. Looks to have gotten back in the game and now just left into the locker room. Probably hurt here. Let's see what happens. See if we can identify what this is. Kind of looks like he takes a headshot there. I don't know.
Yeah, a little bit tough. I'm trying to find too. There was an amazing play last night where the Panthers managed to run a flea flicker on the 20-yard line, fumble the ball, and there was an alternate angle that they showed in the middle of the game where you could see that trying to recover that fumble, Bryce Young actually ends up getting hit three
Ooh.
different times, all with the crown of helmets from players, one of which was
Exclusively
his
where you're
own.
not supposed to hit.
Incredible fumble from the Panthers there. But I don't know if there's a clip of they showed the alternate angle at like the 10-minute mark in the fourth quarter or something, like way after the play actually happened. And it was just brutal watching him, but he was totally fine. The ability for these guys to bounce back is insane, dude. I
Well,
take one of those hits and be down for 6 years.
I do believe Puka Nakua said that concussions are all in your head, right? So if you don't think about them, they can't hurt you.
That's right. Professional gambler asking if you can still predict. Yeah, drop especially Garrett and the Jets. The Saints and Falcons might be a little bit too late to predict that one because
Yeah.
we've seen a little bit of action in that game. But yeah, the Jets and Miles Garrett, I believe there hasn't been a pick yet, and also there hasn't been a sack yet. So go ahead. I'm gonna crack a window real quick.
Yep. We are seeing a pretty insane series of events here in this Jags Titans game. A lot of yelling at the refs from both teams.
Obi-Wan saying another prediction. Will Sam be crying about the Steelers by the end of the game this week? Oh man, I got to take the over on that. I think
Yeah, that'll be a good one.
I'm not loving my chances, to be honest. I did see my boy Mount Doji took the Steelers at 3.5. You know, we've played the Ravens in so many of these end of season games by this point that I do feel like there's a relatively high chance that we end up being able to pull it out. But with that being said, I have about zero confidence in this team's defense or offense. And the Ravens have been consistently getting better for the last 4 weeks.
Yeah, and
So
healthier,
I'm,
man. And those two
yeah,
teams are trending in the wrong direction. And I think the biggest
yeah,
issue is our boy DeKalen no longer playing for the Pittsburgh Steelers this year. At least not in the regular season. That's going to be a big miss, especially now that Ravens secondary has gotten a lot healthier. Kyle Hamilton's back. You're seeing a lot of the front seven come back. There's a lot more pressure available. Aaron Rodgers is ancient. It'll be an interesting game.
yeah.
That's awesome. That's the last true win and in, because last night that Bucks Panthers game was not technically a win and in scenario. This Steelers game absolutely is.
Yeah, it is. And you know, it's something that we've been looking at for quite a long time. Obviously, the Steelers had a chance last week to seal the deal against the Browns, weren't able to do it, which is something that haunts me in my nightmares because I absolutely hate that we couldn't finish off what was a 3-13 opponent. So it's gonna be really embarrassing if Mike Tomlin isn't able to lead the team to a win, even without our boy DeKalen. It seems like something that he's going to have to do to repair whatever's left of the confidence for the franchise in him. But Mike Tomlin, the longest tenured coach in the entire league, I think that there's no way in hell he ends up getting fired going 9-8. I am curious though, do you think Aaron Rodgers retires this year, or do you think he goes to another team? And if so, who?
I'll tell you what. I do know that I'm already tired of hearing about whether or not Aaron Rodgers will retire, because Aaron loves one thing more than anything else, and it's talking and hearing himself talk and being in front of the media. And he does it excellent over the course of the offseason. So you know he's going to milk it right up until September, much like he did this previous offseason. Look,
Yeah.
does Aaron have more in the tank? Maybe. Can he be a field general and lead a team to the playoffs? Probably. Does that mean he should play football? Absolutely not. So much of what made Aaron Rodgers, a four-time MVP, one of the top maybe 3 or 4 quarterbacks who've ever played the game, is his ability to run, is his arm strength, a
Yeah.
lot of his physical traits combined with his ability to read the game. Unlike somebody like Philip Rivers, who was never really, a physical specimen, who always had to rely on just reading the game. I think what you're seeing with Rodgers now is his body is starting to betray his mind a little bit. You saw it with Tom Brady in his final season. To me, this is hey, you made an effort, you put a team in a position to potentially get into the playoffs. You should call it a career, and it's been a hell of a career at that.
Just dropped a clip for you on this very same note. I personally, Rogers, 23 TDs, 7 interceptions with the Steelers, have a winning record this year. There's a chance that he returns to Pittsburgh. I think if he leaves, the realistic landing spot is probably the Minnesota Vikings, who seem like they're a quarterback away from being very good. If you look at the Cardinals and the Dolphins and stuff like that, I don't think Aaron Rodgers can make them a Super Bowl contender. I do think the Vikings actually could make that leap depending on what they do in the offseason. And this would be the ultimate spiritual dick pic to send to Brett Favre if he was able to win a Super Bowl at the team that Brett Favre looked like he was going to take to the Super Bowl, but wasn't quite able to do it post Packers. That would be incredible as an outcome.
Yeah, I love that. This guy's my favorite. I have not seen this video. This is Film Watchers, probably the most educated NFL content creator. Obviously, a kid who's played O-line in his career. Talking through Aaron Rodgers. Let's watch a little bit of this. Hopefully, audio is okay.
This is pathetic. I mean, he comes out on a 4th and 1, and you have this 5-wide gun empty set. And you immediately notice that the Browns have man alignment from all their DBs on all the Steelers' receiving threats. You have that whole defender. You have that single high safety. That's a textbook pre-snap cover 1 look. So then you motion Freiermuth in, and you also notice that his man defender follows him. That confirms the man coverage, confirms the cover 1. Good thing that you have a route concept drawn up that perfectly attacks man coverage. because when this Mike blitzes, this works out perfectly because your tight end is going to run off his man defender.
Right.
Adam Thielen breaks in on the under. That attacks the outside shade leverage of his man defender. Adam Thielen is wide
the
open
widest
across
open.
the middle of the field on a 4th and 1. Yet Aaron Rodgers manages to not read the fact that the
Makes me
Mike
so mad,
blitzes.
dude.
His head immediately turns to Scotty Miller running a fade on a 4th and 1. No disrespect to Scotty Miller. That's not a high percentage play. The ball misses entirely. Like,
brutal.
what even is that?
This is the
that's
thing, right? When you get that old, when your body begins to betray you, you try to make things up, passes that you could have done earlier. That's not Jordy Nelson. That's
Yeah.
I know he's a little white guy, but
It's
it's not Jordy Nelson.
Yeah, that's the way he ends that clip saying like this, the mental is supposed to be the sharpest part of his game.
Yeah.
And he's missing wide open reads that he should be making pre-snap. Like
Yeah.
what's going on
Stuff that
here,
we
you
cover,
know?
man. If we can see it, you should be seeing it, Aaron. One
Yeah.
thing that's really interesting for this Ravens Steelers game is today is January 4th, which is Derrick Henry's birthday. And we looked back, and by we, I mean our good friends in the subreddit, looked back and found 3 games of Derrick Henry playing football on his birthday. 182 yards and 2 touchdowns, 132 yards and 3 touchdowns, 145 yards and 2 touchdowns. I would say it's probably pretty safe to fire up your Derrick Henrys today because the man has been an absolute menace. He had a 1,000-yard career season on just his birthday in 4 games. You should play the man today.
Dude, I hate it. I hate that stat more than just about anything else I've heard over the course
Keep in
of the
mind
last year.
that all those January 4th games would have come in a 17-game season, which means all of those games would have been after age 27, 28 for Derrick
Yeah.
Henry. Imagine what he could have done, 25.
Steve is saying, Sam, who do you want for the Steelers next season? Do you want to go with a free agent or hit the reset button and go young? Dude, this is the problem that we consistently face, right? We have to draft a quarterback in the second half of the first round every year because we finish 9-8 every year. And so realistically, do I see us trading up and, spending 3 first rounders or something to go top 3 in the draft? No, we don't usually make big splashy trades. The DK Metcalf signing was one of the biggest things that we've done in the history of the Steelers. Minka Fitzpatrick actually was part of 2 of the biggest trades in Steelers history, which is kind of hilarious. I think that realistically, we're going to end up signing another veteran QB, and then we're going to try to draft somebody in the 2nd or 3rd round, which is what we did with Duck Hodges and some of these other guys that haven't panned out. So I don't know. Kenny Pickett, we gave him 2 years. Maybe we try to do the same thing sort of again, but that was an ugly time that nobody really wants to relive. Anybody know what are some of the free agents that are going to be available this year? I really wanted to sign Sam Darnold. Obviously, didn't end up getting him. He's absolutely crushing it. So I'm inclined to think that would have been a good idea, but I'm not sure. Oh yeah, Tua, says Steve.
Yeah, dude, Tua,
I don't know
Malik
if I love
Willis.
Tua.
Malik Willis will be one that is poached or attempted to be poached by a number of teams. Daniel Jones will be a free agent next year, but he's likely not going to be healthy at least until midseason. Got to figure that he probably doesn't sign anywhere. I said this, and this is a hot take, and Phil, I think that this whole little bit here is a great one. So look at this after the show. But I have said this for a number of years. The worst thing that the Steelers have done in the last 3 years is not sell TJ Watt at prime TJ Watt performance levels. I understand it. He is a franchise player. He is one of the best players who've ever played the game at his position. He is talking and approaching levels of his brother, JJ Watt, who's maybe the most dominant player for 4 years we've ever seen play football. He doesn't help this team because you don't have a quarterback. And if anything, he hurts this team because TJ Watt wins games alone, which makes you have worse draft position, which leaves you with guys like Kenny Pickett and Duck Hodges, guys who are not going to do it for the Steelers. And I think the longer you have him, 2 things happen. You win more games, so you can't draft a quarterback, and he gets older, so he's worth less. But to me, TJ Watt 2 years ago was worth multiple first-round picks. We just saw it with Sauce Gardner, right? TJ Watt gets you 2 first-round picks. You take that every day of the week. It gives TJ an opportunity to go and win. It gives the Steelers fire and ammo to rebuild and build something that might be good. I think the biggest mistake that they have made is not getting rid of TJ Watt. Not because he's a bad player, but because he's so much more valuable to that team in the form of picks and a worse performance overall for the Steelers and a higher draft pick.
So hypothetically, Steelers offer whatever they end up with, let's call it the 17th pick in the 2026 NFL draft. And then they also say we'll throw in TJ Watt for the first overall. Do you take that?
Oh, every day of the week. Are you
What
saying? Are you
about
saying as a
second or third
Steeler?
overall?
As the
Yeah,
Steelers?
well, both sides. Both sides.
If I'm
Do
if
you think that they
I'm
could come to some kind of agreement?
if I'm the Raiders, not a chance in hell. And if I'm the Giants, I'm also probably saying no for one reason. One, 17 is way too far back from, first overall pick. There are only two quarterbacks in this draft that are going to go in the first round. And Fernando Mendoza is probably really the only one. Maybe there's some case for Trinidad out of Ole Miss, but I think that he probably falls into the second round. 17 is way too far back for the Giants, and TJ Watt doesn't make that up for two reasons. One, the Giants have a really good pass rush. Two, he's too old. 3 years ago, the answer is absolutely. You're going to give me a 27, 28-year-old TJ Watt and the 17th overall for first overall pick, and we have our quarterback, and we've got Malik Neighbors, and we've got Cam Scatabo, and we feel good about our defense. Absolutely, I'm taking it. He's too old. I think the Steelers have waited way too long. Now, the Steelers offer that, and they get that first overall pick. You say, thank you, sir, and you laugh about how you just robbed the Raiders or the Giants blind on a 32-year-old TJ Watt and the 17th overall pick for a chance to draft a quarterback. Absolutely. The Browns just had a 99-yard, what should be a pick six, Myles Garrett with the block, a 99-yard pick six. There's a flag on the field. He did the Darren Sharper hold my dick, the Marshawn Lynch. Watch this. But yeah, no, I think the ship has sailed. I think they've waited way too long on TJ Watt to kind of get what you're expecting out of him. Trey Hendrickson is a guy who I think is worth more.
That's an insane statement. I mean, at a certain point too, you get into a position where any team that wants to sign him just can't afford the contract, which is some of the difficulty that Micah Parsons created. They were able to figure it out in a way to get him to the Packers, but it's really, really hard to find the right sort of team that's in a playoff window. They can afford them. They also have the draft capital in order to be able to trade for them. It's kind of like finding lightning in a bottle. Speaking of Micah Parsons, I'm curious what your all ACL tear team is this year. We've got Tyreek Hill, Nick Bosa, Micah Parsons, Patrick Mahomes, Malik Neighbors, Zach Ertz, Michael Penix Jr., a bunch of absolutely insanely talented players.
The all ACL team is a playoff team. They probably win a playoff game. Yeah. Just with the guys you've named. We haven't even talked about O-line or any other defensive players. But I think if you look just from what you've named, all ACL team, probably the best team in the AFC. Let's be real. You're giving me Pat Mahomes and Malik Neighbors. Come on.
Yeah.
Falcons touchdown to Drake London. Wow. The widest of wide opens. Holy
Jesus.
7-0 Falcons. 3 minutes left in that first quarter. So Falcons leading there.
That's after he already had a touchdown called back. So the Falcons cooking on offense so far. The Colts with the ball again. I was curious what you think about the current quarterback situation on the Colts, and also Anthony Richardson and one of the most freak injuries that we've seen probably in the history of the NFL.
Dude, wow. Trevor Lawrence avoided a sack and gets sacked. Man, tell you what, doesn't feel good. Don't like it. Don't like the situation. Don't like what we're looking at in Indianapolis. I'm going to give you a list of QBs who have started since Andrew Luck. And it is a long list of QBs that have started, a long list of QBs who have made the attempt to step in. We've got Jacoby Brissett, Brian Hoyer, Phillip Rivers in 2020 and in 2025, Carson Wentz, 2 sprains, both ankle sprain on one play. Absolutely iconic moment. Probably Carson Wentz defining career moment. Matt Ryan, Sam Ellinger, Nick Foles, Gardner Minshew, Anthony Richardson, Joe Flacco, Daniel Jones, and now Riley Leonard. That is a shit ton of quarterbacks since Andrew Luck left us at the altar at the start of the 2019 season. I think that quarterback carousel continues. We have Daniel Jones who broke his leg, then tore his ACL or tore his Achilles rather. That sequence is ridiculous. A broken leg into a torn Achilles. He's done. He's not coming back until mid-season next week or next year. So he's out. Anthony Richardson broke his eyeball in the training room, warming up before a game. A rod snapped, which sent an elastic band, hit him in the orbital bone, fractured his eye. He has been on IR since October 12th. Riley Leonard at least looks to be a guy with a little bit of fight, but you got to figure it won't be Daniel Jones in Indianapolis next year. Anthony Richardson at this point of his career is probably best used as some sort of trade. Get us a 4th or 5th round pick, move on from that disaster of a 4th overall pick, move on. Riley Leonard looks good, probably not going to be the starter next year, should not be the starter. So then you go, okay, can we trade for a quarterback? Well, we don't have a 1st round pick for 2 years because we went out all in on Sauce Gardner. All right. Do we have cap space? Not really. We need to sign Quentin Nelson. We need to sign Alec Pierce. We need to re-sign Jonathan Taylor. There's a lot going on that side of the ball. We don't really have the cap space for it. So who are our options? Maybe it's Malik Willis. Maybe he signs a 1-year, $20 million prove-it deal, which we can swing, but every other team in the league is going to be making that effort. It shouldn't be Aaron Rodgers. I don't want another 40-year-old quarterback taking lead. It's probably going to be Riley Leonard. I would say if you're a Colts fan, I hate to say it, being a Colts fan, but 2025 was a disaster. 2026 likely going to be a disaster. We don't have a pick in 2027. Close your eyes and hope for 2028 to be a relatively decent year. Arch Manning should be in the pool.
Oh.
Maybe a Manning comes back to Indianapolis and saves us, but I think we're screwed for the next 2 or 3 years.
Dude, the return of the Manning would be an incredible storyline if you guys are able to finesse that. But dude, Anthony Richardson, dude is built like a refrigerator with legs, and he got taken out by a resistance band in warmups. That's crazy that he can throw 70 yards, but he can't handle a TheraBand without turning into a pirate. I mean, that is crazy, dude.
The dude is made of glass. You know that SpongeBob guy? The guy from SpongeBob is like, every morning I break my arms and every night I break my legs. That's Anthony Richardson, dude. It is Anthony Richardson. He is fragile. He's a physical specimen, 260 pounds, 6'5", the most athletic quarterback who's ever played the game, a perfect 10 on the RAS relative athletic score. Can throw a football clear over the mountains. Wind, too strong a wind, too hard a rubber band. Guy's done for the year. It's tragic.
What Indian burial ground was the Colts' most recent field built on?
Yeah, dude, no kidding. Reaching out to Phil here. One of the things I saw earlier in the year, so the NFL is changing the turf that is used in all of their stadiums next year, but you look at stadiums by most injuries, Levi Stadium and Lucas Oil Stadium, so the stadium for the Colts and the 49ers have the highest incident of injuries in the NFL over the course of the last decade. Pretty insane, and it all comes down to, or they believe it comes down to, the type of turf that is used. They have a turf that effectively makes a loop like this versus turf that has these upper edge splits, and apparently that loop system is what's catching cleats and causing all of these non-contact injuries.
That makes sense. I'm shocked though to hear that it's the Colts. I would have thought for sure it was the Chargers because they just seem like collectively they're made of glass every single season.
Yeah, dude, that play we saw last week where our boy Justin Herbert was left out to dry was pretty crazy. Tyler Shuck taking a shot and a ridiculous catch.
Beautiful catch. Insane.
Wow, they have a chance here. They're now in the red zone. They're in scoring position. They have a chance to tie this game up before the half, which would be pretty crazy.
Wow, that's a beauty. Even gets a second hand on it, keeps it from going down to the ground. You love to see it, man. It feels like wide receivers and kickers are the two positions taking the biggest leap this year. I have seen so many insane one-handed grabs from people I've never even heard of. And just the amount of insane hurdles and stuff like that we're seeing. And then kickers are booting the ball from 70 yards regularly and somehow managing to make it look easy. And Turpin runs a kickoff 84 yards back, but not able to get it all the way to the house. The Cowboys single-handedly making kickoff returns interesting with Cavante Turpin. He's been the best return man, at least for the last 2 or 3 years now.
Yeah, it reminds me, shades of Devin Hester. I think his name was Johnny Knox, the guy who got folded in half and the Bears broke his back. Do you remember that? It was like early or late 2000s it would have been. Pretty nuts. Yeah, man,
Bring that
kickers.
clip up, dude.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can find it. Kickers have just gotten insanely good. Brandon Aubrey was drafted first overall to the MLS, the Major League Soccer, I believe to the Toronto FC. Actually, my team. I'm a longtime unfortunate season ticket holder of that team. A lot of my teams tend to suck. Maybe it's a me problem here. But Brandon Aubrey in Dallas going nuts. Jason Myers going nuts. You're seeing so many kickers kick the ball further and further this year. It's pretty wild.
Dude. Okay, I'm with you. I'm with you in the first half. But the fact that you just said Jason Myers whenever he shanked a 28-yarder last night is crazy.
But Myers shanked the 28-yarder, but he's like running back 20 by points. You would have been better off drafting Myers than most of the running backs in the NFL this year. Okay.
That's insane. So, it's a 26-yarder, excuse me. Holy.
Here are the longest kicks in NFL history. And here are the year that they happened. The longest, 68 yards by Cam Little, 2025. 66 yards by Justin Tucker in 2021. 65 yards by Chase McLaughlin and Brandon Aubrey, both in 24 and 25. 64 yards in 25 by Brandon Aubrey. And then you get 63 yards. This is where things start to break up a little bit. But the top, 5 distances all happened in the last 4 seasons, which is just absurd. The leap that kickers have taken in the last 4 years has been ridiculous. The 63-yard by Tom Dempsey, which was the record prior to 2025, was kicked in 1970. So that record stood for over 50 years. That's the leap in kicking we've seen over the last couple of years.
It's insane. Is it technique or is it just steroids? I mean, they seem like they're kicking the ball the exact same way.
I think it's a bit of technique. I think it's a bit of a better holding. I think that the unit is doing a little bit better. Kickers were kind of seen as like not really players, just somebody who kind of came in and kicked. And now you're seeing kickers training like kickers. And I think that's part of the reason why they're getting so much further, so much longer in those kick attempts. Is that game, the end of the first quarter in that Saints game, has that been met? It is the end of the quarter in the Saints game. So
Falcons win. Yeah,
Falcons have won that draft, that prediction. So if you have bet Falcons to be leading, DM me on X at ITSGNOC. I'm going to write the direct link in the YouTube chat right now. Say Falcons and your in-game username and your in-game wallet. Professional gambler, if you are here, I'm going to need you to DM me and we will get you sorted. Oh, I see that you have Deathlock. Yeah. Okay. We'll get you sorted. I don't know. Snake saying Richardson is such a bust. I think it's difficult to label a guy like Richardson a bust, largely because Richardson got drafted with the express intention of being a long-term 3 or 4 year project type player. He was not a guy who was being drafted 4th overall because teams thought he would be an out of the gate starter. He was a guy drafted 4th overall because he's the biggest player, the strongest player, the fastest player, the most athletic player. And people said, hey, Shane Steichen, quarterback whisperer, should be able to fix this guy. It hasn't worked out so far. It doesn't look like it's going to work out in Indianapolis, but I have a hard time saying bust for a guy like him versus somebody like Jamarcus Russell, who was pegged as coming out of the gate, should be a starter day one. Jamarcus Russell was a bust. Anthony Richardson was a project player that didn't work out. I think if he was drafted 10th or 15th overall, people don't have anything to say about it.
Sorry, getting lost in the sauce in some of these clips. I desperately want to get your reaction to this completely unrelated video that I just thought was absolutely hilarious. I'm just gonna send this to you with no context. I DM'd it to you in the chat. We'll see if we've got any golf fans out there that might be able to feel a little bit of pain along with me on this one.
It.
3rd and 23 after they got that crazy catch moon ball. The Saints managed to blow that drive up. 10-yard pass to Taysom Hill. maybe in field goal range. We'll see.
I've only received 2 DMs from people who have voted Falcons. So I'll say it again. If you have said that the Falcons would be leaning or would be winning at the end of the first quarter, DM me at ITSGNOC. I've seen it from Ben. I've seen it from, I believe, yeah, there's Cybernova, and we just got, I'm looking at X, Storm as well. A few more of you have said that you chose the Falcons, so make sure that you DM me, make sure that we get you guys sorted. Sam, I'm going to pull this up now. If I can find where the tab is. Classic. There it is. Okay.
This was my experience
All right,
every
Miles,
single
second
time I
shot
go
on the way.
golfing. This is a guy on the PGA Tour rookie cards. If anybody doesn't know,
All right, Miles,
in order to
second
make it
shot
to
on
the
the
PGA
way.
Tour rookie cards, you already have to be probably a top 500 golfer
no.
in the world, maybe top
One more
1,000.
action in the bunker.
He manages to get himself in what is the most insane bunker
Dude,
I've ever
look
seen
at
in
this
my
bunker.
entire-
This is a beach. Are you kidding me?
That's what they used at Normandy
Dude,
to keep people from invading.
Dude, this bunker is wider than the fairways I play on.
Oh, that was
Watch
way
my
too
guy.
clean.
Oh
Try
no,
to
he
fight
puts
his
it in
way
the
out of
other
it.
one.
Yeah, of
Easy
course.
to do.
You're bound to go over whenever just getting it up is a Herculean feat. And then
That ball's got to get down too.
Oh my goodness.
then he goes over again, and naturally that
Dude,
means
I would
is
go
back.
home. I would go home. I wouldn't play anymore.
it's so
No,
good, man.
dude, he is like 30 feet below the green.
Yeah. When I saw this, I was like, dude must have been, in Giga last place. He was already probably plus 15.
Dude.
He was -6 on the day whenever he started shooting this.
He was -6 and he hit an octuple bogey.
Oh my gosh, sit down.
And you think that you know the pain that he's felt? You haven't even begun to see
and
this
he
clip.
Sculled this thing.
Settle,
Oh, that's
settle,
sick.
settle,
He
settle.
sculled it.
Oh my
It's
goodness.
going.
Dude,
Don't
imagine
stop
being
once he
his
gets
playing
it.
partner just watching this shit. His playing partner finished the hole 15 minutes ago. Imagine being the guy trying to rake this sand
Look
trap.
look at that guy. He's still raking the last time he was in the sand trap, and then the ball trickles back.
I like how he aims back now. He aims away from the
That is
green
almost
entirely.
exactly where Norman
Yep.
hold it from.
He
Why'd you
decided
throw
to
out
just
that
lay
one?
it up.
Okay. Now again, this is his 10th
Tell me this
shot.
ends.
Oh,
my
man.
gosh. Please. No,
Shut
don't
the
do that. What are you doing? Mal, what are you doing?
Dude, this never ends.
Oh my god. Imagine
You see
being
how
his
the balls are
caddy
coming out
and
hot?
you're getting
That's
paid
when you have
based
no
on the
feel and you get
placement. You're just
anxious
walking
and
back
nervous and
forth
you're really
going,
throwing
"Here's-
your hands
here's
at the
the
bottom,
sandwich again, boss."
accelerating. You could tell
Ridiculous.
both of the shots he hit coming
To
out hot
Normandy
and
Beach.
long.
Oh man, poor guy. He's putting
Moments
the
like
ball
this,
from
you just wanna
70
give
feet
a guy
away.
like a hug. I mean, it's
The
this
co-
is
the
so hard to
commentator
watch,
saying, "I
and
just
I
kinda wanna
can't
give this
imagine
guy
what
a
he's
hug." Dude, that,
Kind
that
of a
is
decent
brutal.
putt.
That is
Kind of a
brutal.
decent putt.
That is
I love
absolute
to, at
tragedy.
the very end, he taps in from there, and then he still does the little hat of like, thanks everybody. Oh man, looks like the Jags managed to get in the end zone again. I think that puts them up a touchdown. Yep, 13-7 right now. Oh, that is so funny.
Oh, dude, man, that shows that they're human. That guy looked like me out there.
I can only imagine how many shots it would take for me to finish that hole. At least 45.
Buddy,
I would have to
I wouldn't
climb
have.
up
I
the
wouldn't have any more fucking clubs. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I'd break every club.
dude. Oh man, you're bringing me to tears, dude. Oh, this was one of the most interesting stats that I've seen come out a long time. We saw NFL Films, the company that documents all things NFL, ask a bunch of current NFL coaches, what is the NFL head coach that has more career rushing yards than Bo Jackson? Bo Jackson, of course, known for running 38 games, had an explosive but short career, put up 2,782 yards in those 38 games. So he was going to be a great running back, had a tragic knee injury that ended up taking him out. Any guesses in the chat? I'm sure some of you guys saw this clip because it was making the rounds. Absolutely insane stat for an NFL coach. So many people were just like, who in the world was even touching the ball?
Yeah.
You know, who was, did you figure this out, Knock, whenever you first saw the clip?
I did right out of the gate. The first name, the guy who actually was the leader was the first name that jumped into my mind. And then somebody else on the list that I'll let people kind of guess a little bit, and then I'll bring up the name. But somebody else on the list who probably should have known didn't know. And I was like, okay, then it can't be that guy if that guy doesn't know. And then it's like Mike Vrabel, well, he played tight end. That doesn't really make much sense. You're looking around the league, D'Amico Ryan. You have a bunch of other guys in the league. Dan Campbell, who played tight end. And you're like, okay, this doesn't make sense. Who could this be? And I'm like, it has to be that guy. And then they show the guy again, and he's like, oh, I can't figure it out. I'm like, maybe it's not the guy. And I'm looking at it. I'm like, okay, it has to be. I'm looking through it. We see a couple guys say, but the Harbaugh, like, come on. You're looking at Harbaugh brothers. It absolutely should have been his brother who knew who it was. And the fact that he kept
Yeah.
going no kept throwing me in this blender. I was like, okay, surely it can't be Jim or it can't be John if Jim doesn't know. It was so strange. But yeah, 200, what was it? He
Yeah.
beat him by like 5 yards?
Yeah, exactly 5 yards. So Jim Harbaugh had a 14-year career as a quarterback, and because of that, he was actually known for being a pretty nimble, scrambling quarterback, and therefore he was able to get 2,787 yards versus Bo Jackson's 270.82. That being said, it took him 177 games to do it instead of 38.
We have a couple of standing updates on FTF that I want to walk through. Dak Prescott, no longer negative points, but still doing poorly. This is a sad outing for the position group right now. You look at the running back spot. Javonte Williams now in third place because of Jaden Blue, who had that massive run earlier. Chase Brown in fifth place, Bijan Robinson in sixth place. Those guys are all active today as it stands. Tight end position, much like the last 3 weeks, an absolute tragedy. Look at Ferguson with 0 points. Tyler Warren in second place with 1.5. Wide receiver spot has had quite a few changes. Drake London in third place. Nico Collins now in fourth place off the back of that Jaden Higgins touchdown that we just saw. Again, Jaden Higgins stepping in as the next man up for Nico Collins because Nico Collins is out. Healthy scratch today. And then Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase round out fifth and sixth. Those guys on the outside knocking in, or looking in rather.
And what is going on with the tight end position in NFL?
It's such a hard position.
Just 2 years ago, we were looking at these guys and saying some of these need to start getting paid like wide receivers.
Yeah.
Like, why are they not getting paid as much as the wide receiver twos on a lot of teams? And now we're seeing that only 3 of them are capable of catching more than 2 passes a game. It's insane, dude. I mean,
Trey
to your
McBride,
point, it is a
Brock
tough
Bowers.
position. You have to do a lot of blocking. Yeah, that's really it. I mean, George Kittle, Travis Kelce.
I will say Tyler
list,
Warren,
you know?
Tyler Warren, and what the hell is the guy from the Dan? If you're watching this, the rookie tight end out of Chicago, for the life of me cannot remember his name. Those 2 guys have looked pretty decent, but yeah, been pretty sad overall.
Oh, sorry, bad timing to take a sip.
I will be
The
right back.
Titans are actually moving the ball.
Give me a second.
Yeah, go for it, man. Exciting to see the Titans keeping it close with the Jags. This is why I didn't want to touch this game, though, man. Just anything divisional feels spicy. The Bengals also 7.5 point favorites, currently down 8 against the Browns. And the Browns have the ball right now. The Dallas Cowboys keeping it close 10-9 with the Giants holding the ball. The Vikings still only up 3. Me and Knock are happy about that because, like we were saying, our biggest bets of the week happen to be hanging on the Green Bay Packers' ability to keep this one close. See if JJ McCarthy is able to pull it out. But a 13.5 point lead or edge given to the Vikings is insane to me. The fact that the Colts are keeping it close with the Houston Texans, honestly, like, I guess not that surprising. Riley Leonard throwing the ball pretty well, but the Houston Texans are resting a lot of their best players today, from what I can tell. Falcons up 7-0 against the Saints. Bucks fans in shambles over that one. We're gonna see. I personally think the Falcons are a shoe in to win this one. Uh, even though Kirk Cousins is sick, unless he's like vomiting on the sidelines and not able to play football very well, I think he's gonna have a pretty good chance of winning this one. Oh man, we're in shambles. My laptop is about to die. I forgot to plug it in, which shows where I'm currently at mentally. The Browns winning against you can feel better about the results versus the Steelers, says Obi. Yeah, honestly, it does help a little bit to see the Browns are able to hang in there with the Bengals, who just put up a ton of points the last week. He also says Hunter Henry would come in clutch for the tight ends this week. I have Hunter Henry starting. I'm a little bit confused on what the Patriots are going to do today, to be honest. Do we know? Are they starting the full squad today, or are they going to be resting some starters?
I don't know off the top of my head. What we're going to do then is bring up my trusty favorite NFL related football app. We're going to look at week 18 and we are going to go through some of these games. What have we seen already? We've seen the Bucks win. What was the other Saturday game?
Bucks won, Seattle Seahawks won.
And then one other game, right, on Thursday? Do you remember off the top of your head?
No game on Thursday this week.
Okay. So we have, oh yeah, New Year's Eve. We have, this is what the picture looks like here. Second seed, Patriots are 13-3, Denver 13-3. Now with so obviously Denver has the tiebreaker. The Patriots are playing the Dolphins. A Patriot win and a Denver loss gives the Patriots first seed. You'd have to imagine that they're playing the whole team. They're going to play the whole team, right? Because they can still play for a bye week. In a scenario where both teams win out, then the Patriots will come in second. But in a scenario where the Chargers win, which would give them Pittsburgh instead of the second seed, you got to figure that they're going to play. So the Chargers are coming out to play, and it looks like New England is coming out to play. So I would imagine you're going to see Drake May, Hunter Henry, and crew roll out in full today.
Whoa. Dude, are you seeing this Colts Texans fumble? Is this a fumble? This is a wild one. The ball is still in his hands. It's moving forward, but it's almost like the tuck rule. He like kind of starts to bring the ball back in. It comes out, but it was ruled a fumble, and it looks like they're sticking with it. They're talking to Gene Steratore. But yeah, the Colts player is still staying on the sideline. And then unfortunate for the Colts, also the ball gets like kicked and ends up rolling 20 yards backwards and picked up on like the 1 yard line. So the Texans are feasting off of that one.
Tragic there.
Danielle Hunter continuing to be one of the best players in the league. Pat's coach said most of their players will start. Amazing. A Drake May believer. I know he also wants to win that MVP. He'll say he doesn't, but you know he does. I would love to see him put up.
You got to figure
350.
You have to figure after that abysmal performance by Matt Stafford against the Falcons last week, it's Drake May's trophy to lose.
I think so. Honestly, it's shocking to say that, but realistically, he has a more interesting narrative too. Like, I think people are pretty excited about what they're seeing out there from him. So we'll have to see how it shakes out. The last game for the Rams, though, is against the Cardinals, who have a terrible defense. So it's also possible that Stafford goes out and puts 40 on him and ends up kind of shutting that down. Man, I'm losing my voice, boys.
We were away at a cottage and the whole crew came down with the flu. So if I sound ridiculous, that's why.
You're hanging in there, dude. Oh, Shador Sanders with the most embarrassing sack I've seen in a minute. Dude just kind of crumbled. Ended up sitting down. Oh my God. Then he took another sack.
Wait, so man got sacked twice. Shedeur Sanders, of course, earlier in the year, the only man in NFL history to turn the ball over twice on a single play. Truly generational ability to give the ball to the wrong team. Fumble, throws an interception, recovers the fumble, fumbles the ball again. Maybe the most ridiculous play up there with the Carson Wentz double ankle sprain. Shedeur Sanders turns the ball over twice. It was a -4 play for fantasy sports. That was just a couple of weeks ago. Absolutely fucking absurd.
You know, another thing I've been thinking a lot about, knock, is these like one-hit wonders that we see at the running back position. It seems like more than anywhere else, running backs have the ability to go for 1,500 yards in one season and then never really be good again. Who's your all-time Mount Rushmore of one-hit wonders?
Okay. The number one hit wonder, and I will fight anybody on this, by far, is Peyton Hillis. Peyton Hillis, if you don't remember, was a short little white man who was the original muscle hamster back in Cleveland in like the mid 2000s. When was it? Let's get the exact year. It was,
Yeah, I want to say like 2010.
2010. Peyton Hillis, 2010,
Oh, nailed it.
third season in the league, 1,100 yards rushing, almost 1,200 yards, 11 touchdowns, another 400 yards through the air, 1,500 yards of scrimmage yards, 13 total touchdowns, gets put on the cover of Madden, fucking disappears. We never see him again. He is the ultimate recipient of the Madden curse. Peyton Hillis is your one-hit wonder GOAT, the all-time best one-hit wonder running back in the NFL. A couple guys that I think are interesting as well. I'll say Justin Forsett. I don't know if you remember him. He was a running back who played for the Ravens. He was on the Ravens for maybe about a decade. But the reason why I'll say he's a one-hit wonder is he was a nobody. First 4 years in the league, never really played much. You know, a couple of change of pace, maybe 300-400 yards a season. 2014, I believe it was, 29 years of age. Justin Forsett goes nuclear, 1,300 rushing yards, 8 total touchdowns. Guy was insane, disappeared. He was nobody before, nobody after. Spencer Ware, maybe the most ridiculous NFL running back career of all time, plays in 2013. Gets injured, misses the entire 2014 season, plays in 2015 and 16, has 920 yards in 2016, was a fantasy football darling for that season there. Gets hurt in 2017, does not play. So now 2 years completely gone, 2018 to 2019, never plays again. Jay Ajayi is another great one for me.
Ooh,
Jay Ajayi is a
one.
guy who came into the league, does not much in year one in 2015, 2016, I think it was like 1,300 rushing yards, 10 touchdowns. Again, another fantasy football darling, disappears after that, has a year about 800 yards, and then kind of falls into obscurity, retires at the ripe age of 26. Another one-hit wonder. Trent Richardson.
Crazy.
Trent Richardson, another
Yeah,
Browns running
dude.
back, gets drafted high, plays for the Browns, gets traded for the Indianapolis Colts. I'll never forget how fucking happy I was when this guy came
For a
to the Colts.
first rounder.
Trent Richardson was blind, deaf, and mute. The guy could not see, he could not listen, could not pay attention to anything that was going on in the field. This guy would have a hole big enough to drive a fucking Mack truck through and would run directly into the back of his guard. He was just a terrible, terrible running back. Maybe the worst vision I've ever seen in professional football. Terrible. One last guy, Eddie Lacy, man who literally ate
Yeah.
himself out of the NFL. Eddie Lacy was a great running back for the Packers for a couple of seasons. We'll look at his stats here. This the first image of Eddie Lacy as I pull this up is him licking his lips. Eddie Lacy plays 5 years in the NFL. Season 1, 1,200 yards, 11 touchdowns. Season 2, 1,200 yards, 10 touchdowns. Season 3, Season 4, Season 5, downhill. What happens? Well, his production looks like this, and his weight looked like that, went in the other direction. Eddie Lacy may be the only man in the history of the NFL who ate himself out of the league. Offensive Rookie of the Year in 2013, out of the league by 2017. Pretty insane to watch. I don't know if that was a Mount Rushmore. That was more of like two Mount Rushmore side by side, but I'll say this, the GOAT is Peyton Hillis. The man got himself on the cover of Madden only to never be good again after 2010.
If you guys ever just need a laugh, look up Reddit Eddie Lacy fat jokes,
Yeah.
and you will find thread after thread after thread after thread. That was a consistent joke for 5 straight years. You missed a couple though, mostly Timmy Smith on the Redskins, the current holder of the Super Bowl rushing record, 204 yards he put up in the Super Bowl for the Redskins. They ended up winning that game 44-10, but then you and I never heard of him again after
Yeah.
that. Our boy Icky Woods put up 1,000-yard rookie year, tore an ACL, never got back. And then my personal favorite, Fast Willie Parker. He took over the mantle from Jerome Bettis. 2006 gets the Super Bowl record for the longest rush in Super Bowl history, still standing 75 yards against the Seattle Seahawks, puts the Steelers up 14-3, and then had a pretty short career after that. One more that I'll throw that, maybe doesn't completely fit the bill here, but Le'Veon Bell, man. Everybody thought that Le'Veon Bell, the most patient rusher to ever touch the field, was going to be one of the GOATs. He ends up going to the New York Jets because the Steelers won't pay him enough. The Jets roll up the Brinks truck, $80 million, which was a lot more money back then than it is now. And he still manages to absolutely butcher his career. In just 1 year, he goes from one of the most notable running backs to ever touch a football to somebody that can't pay to be on an NFL team. And there was the end of it.
I got one for you,
Disgusting.
Sam. I got one that haunts me, haunts my dreams. Man
Trent Richardson wasn't enough for you, dude?
Man by the name of Jonas Gray.
Jonas Gray.
Jonas Gray played the Indianapolis Colts in 2014, touched the ball 1,000 times, ran for 1,000 yards, scored 1,000 touchdowns, absolutely brutalized our team at Andrew Luck at the peak of his playing ability. And then Bill Belichick says, "Now we're done with Jonas Gray. Benched.
Yep.
Doesn't play another fucking snap for the rest of the year. Is out of the league the following season." He literally existed to brutalize my Indianapolis Colts in the playoffs. Keep in mind, he has a career 570 rushing yards, a career 4 touchdowns. All 4 of those fucking touchdowns came in that game against the Colts. 200 of that 576 yards came against the Colts in that singular game. I will never forget it because I have nightmares of Jonas Gray. And I think the thing that hurts me the most is that he got sat in the very next game. He never played again for the New England Patriots, and he never played much after that in the NFL. Yeah. This man came in, said, "Hey, I'm going to have a generational game. Fuck you, Indianapolis in particular," and then disappeared and never played football again. Fuck, man. Jonas Gray haunts me. Absolutely haunts me.
That was so weird, too. This was right around the time that, Malcolm Butler got sat in the Super Bowl after previously having a defining Super Bowl play. Jonas Gray supposedly missed the bus. He overslept, and that was why Bill Belichick sat him down.
Bro, he overslept because he touched the ball 37 fucking times in the game prior.
All right, man. You just put up 4 touchdowns. Let the man sleep. Jesus Christ, Bill. This reminds me so much of the Seinfeld episode, if anybody out there is a Seinfeld fan, where there's an Olympic runner and he overslept at the Olympics, and Jerry takes it upon himself to make sure that he wakes up for this next marathon, and he oversleeps again. This is Jonas Gray in a nutshell. Can you imagine your career being defined by rushing for 200 yards and 4 touchdowns, and then essentially letting one missed alarm ruin your entire NFL career? I can't imagine a single circumstance that would haunt me more than that,
dude. I could not either. I got 2 from Steve Adler that I have to look up. Tommy Vardell, and what was the other name? Ricky
Irvins.
Okay. I'm going to pull these up.
Obi says, "When I listen to you guys talk, I realize how little I know about the NFL." Dude, I appreciate that, but man, this stuff this stuff is just living rent-free in my head 24/7 because I've had NFL games on in the background as long as I can possibly remember. He also says he loves Seinfeld. What a great episode. Seems so harsh. Why didn't another NFL team pick him up? I honestly don't know what happened after he got cut from the Patriots that season. I'm sure he went somewhere and just didn't perform very well.
Jonas Gray is an example of... Yeah, Phil, I saw that Sam's webcam kind of disappeared. It's okay. Just roll with it anyway. We'll be good enough. Jonas Gray is what the NFL calls a jag. So a JAG, just a guy. And I think in the right scheme, in the right fit, in the right moment, in the right, atmosphere, you have lots of guys who do well. Recent one of this was Robinson. What was his first name? He played for the Jags for a couple years. Anyway, you see a lot of these guys in the NFL. They come in, they do well in a particular set of circumstances, and then they disappear. And I think Jonas Gray, his particular set of circumstances was playing the Indianapolis Colts in the playoffs. And you don't get to do that every game, right? For James Robinson, it was, I played for the Jags in a time where they were leaning on the run game, et cetera, et cetera. Interesting thing here, development here in the Saints game. We see the Saints now with a pass towards the end zone from Tyler Shuck. Looks like that pass was batted down, but pass interference. Tyler Shuck runs this one in. Touchdown, Shuck. Insane. So the Saints now coming within 3. We're going to take a look at lines in a second here. I want to pull up FDF, take one quick look while Sam fixes his webcam here. One quick look at the standings now. Sam, your eyes are completely closed and you are frozen.
Oh no, dude. Bring me back.
No, not distracting at all, Phil. Phil is our producer. He's giving us some notes on his back. So if you hear me speaking to Phil, I'm not losing my mind. I'm talking to somebody. Don't worry. Look at the quarterback position. Dak Prescott now moved up 1.5 points to 1.8. Williams still in second. And then really Chase Brown and Alvin Kamara now up in the 6th, knocking Bijan Robinson out of that 6th spot. Kamara, obviously, with his stem playing now 6.7 points. Tight end position, Tyler Warren still holding on. Wide receiver position, not a whole lot of action today. Justin Jefferson has jumped into 2nd, now just 3 points behind JSN. Drake London in 4th, Nico Collins in 5th, and then Jamar Chase, Brian Thomas, and then Chris Olave, who is Austin playing in for Chris Olave, round out the remainder of that top 10 of active players. Good looks there. Let's take a quick look at lines, Sam. We talked about a couple of these things early in the game, how we felt a little gross about. This line has come closer. This Cleveland Browns line, obviously now moving a little bit closer together. We felt that line was maybe a little too far apart to begin with, and it does look like that is the case. You look at Indianapolis, Houston, that game is getting further apart. I'm kind of surprised, though, because that game, it's a 10-point game. That makes sense. Tennessee and Jacksonville, for all intents and purposes, that game is done. Minnesota at Green Bay. Earlier in the show, you may have seen us saying, hey, why the hell is, the Vikings 92% over Green Bay? It's because a guy by the name of, I can't even remember his name, is playing quarterback, not Jordan Love or Malik Willis. Yes, thank you. Clayton Tune is throwing the ball. Thoughts and prayers for Justin Jefferson. That is a tragic, or not even Jefferson. Yeah, Jefferson's playing on the Vikings with JJ, and hopefully he can do a little bit today. You look at the Cowboys game. This line has started to separate here. I still feel good about this line. I said earlier today that this is the line I'm slamming hardest. Still feel that this is a good game. I think this line should just continue to climb up for Dallas. So for me, never made sense that New York was in play here, just given the fact that they seem to be openly trying to lose the football game.
Yeah, I'm also curious from your perspective if you think that Stephon Diggs is going to have an amazing game tonight, because he has $1 million in incentives on the line. He needs 8 receptions to finish the season with 90 to collect $500K, and then 30 receiving yards to finish the season with 1,000 and collect another $500K. So he's right on the cusp of both of those. The 8 receptions in particular seem interesting to me because obviously 30 yards, not a ton, but 8 receptions alone, especially if one of them ends up for a touchdown, might be enough to get him in those top 5.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see Stephon Diggs. I think a lot of distractions, obviously, for Diggs over the last little while, in legal trouble once again. I'll tell you what, he better hit those metrics. He needs a touchdown. He needs 30 yards. He needs 8 receptions. I think Stephon Diggs is praying for a line that looks a little like, 10 receptions, 120 yards, and a touchdown, because he's going to need all of those incentive money and bonuses to pay off the legal fees that he's going to be paying over the course of the offseason. That guy's a guy who's always in trouble. That being said, we talked about this. You're going to see the Broncos playing tonight against the Chargers. The Chargers are sitting a couple of players. If the Chargers win and the Pats win, the Pats will be the first seed in the AFC. They will have a bye week. There's a lot to play for. In a game where you have a lot to play for, lean on your best players. Stephon Diggs is the best wide receiver that team has. Throw him the ball.
Man, I just got to highlight, though, that December 30th was the worst day that two brothers in the NFL have had in a very, very long time. And their names are Stephon Diggs and Trayvon Diggs. Anybody that doesn't know, Trayvon Diggs, I believe, made, what was it, 6 or 7 consecutive games as a rookie where he caught an interception for the Dallas Cowboys. Now, a lot was said about how this actually made him a pretty terrible defender because he would do extremely risky things to go and catch these balls. But he was released by the Dallas Cowboys on December 30th, the same day that Stephon Diggs had it come out that he was facing felony strangulation and misdemeanor assault charges, which is just a crazy bad 24 hours for a family.
I'm gonna say I'm not laughing at the fact that he strangled somebody. I'm laughing at the name felony strangulation is just the most ridiculous crime that you can commit. Listen, I've said this before, but Trayvon Diggs is the most fraudulent corner in the NFL. This is a guy who made all of his money off of interceptions. I think it was like 11 interceptions over the course of the season. He was a ball hawk. The problem is two things. One, it means quarterbacks are more than happy to throw the ball your way, right? They're not worried at all about the interceptions. Why? Why is that? Why would I throw the ball at a guy who has 11 interceptions on the year? It's because he led the league in touchdowns given up. He was the worst coverage corner in the NFL. He made all of these 50-50 ball plays, and that's why he had so many interceptions, and that's why so many quarterbacks targeted him, because he's a guy who's going to give up a touchdown. Yeah, you might throw an interception over the course of a given game, but you might score 2 touchdowns on Trevon Diggs, and that's what teams did. The fact that he was an All-Pro is an absolute affront to the All-Pro strategy and everything that goes on there. And I'll say a step even further. Sauce Gardner has this post the other day. People call him crashing out, but Sauce says, hey, people don't put me up high on the leaderboard of top corners in the NFL because nobody fucking throws the ball my way. Nobody wants to look at me because I'm that good. When you're a corner, you're invisible. When you're a good corner, a corner who can take a whole section of the field away, nobody looks at you. When you're a corner who is at the top of his game, you don't have a lot of interceptions because not a whole lot of balls are thrown your way. When you're Trevon Diggs and you have 11 interceptions and 750 touchdowns against, people are going to continue throwing the ball that way. And it'll look good because interceptions are a fun metric, but you're not a good corner. Trevon Diggs was not a good corner. That's why he got released. Anybody who thinks otherwise is not paying attention to football.
The best advertising that a corner ever did to make it so that narrative didn't happen to him was Revis Island. Yep. Revis Island was repeated over and over and over and over again, and it was a way for him to say, look, when you're on my island, the ball isn't even getting thrown over here, so therefore all the stats that follow don't even matter because that's the kind of impact I have on the field. That's what Sauce needs in order for people to kind of correct this narrative. But I loved his tweet. I think it was something like, I've only given up 204 yards this year because, to your exact point, nobody's throwing the ball in my general direction.
Keep in mind,
Steve Adler asking if we jinxed Travis Etienne.
No, we did not, Steve. We did not talk about points. I purposely did not put up a who will score the most points competition yet. We'll do one in the second half. But I purposely did not do it in the first because we wanted to stimulate some points here. Is that Strange? Brenton Strange at the touchdown there? Who is that? Norris? Quinton Morris. That's a definition of
new to me.
A Jag. Just a guy.
I think there was one more thing you wanted to add on to that last topic.
Yeah, and it has, I don't even remember. It has escaped me. What were we talking about, Sam? Sorry, I got distracted by Quinton Morris here.
Dude, honestly, I'm losing track. Trayvon Diggs, Revis Island, etc.
Oh, yeah, Sauce Gardner. Part of what makes his stat line so interesting this year, and the fact that he has given up so few yards and so few catches, is that he went 1-7 on the Jets, got traded to the Colts, who at the time were 8-2, and went 1-6 on the Colts. So he has gone. He is gonna go 1-7 on 2 different NFL teams this year. Truly, a tragic set of circumstances.
It is. It is. It's almost like statistically, that's insanely unlikely that those 2 things would happen, especially like you said, whenever the Colts were such a great team, whenever they made that signing, it was like, oh, they're going all in for the Super Bowl. and then basically immediately had quarterback woes due to injury. You hate to see it,
Yeah,
especially
broken
for a
leg,
team you're a fan of.
torn Achilles. Hey man, listen, that's just par for the course. Being an Indianapolis Colts fan is waking up and punching yourself in the dick every morning. Fuck, man.
Obi-Wan says they jinx any player they mention, Steve. Even Olave, the poor guy, got a clot after they just talked about him on Amplified.
Yeah, Steve, new policy on the show. We're actually not going to mention any player by name unless he plays for an AFC South roster, and then I'll say all of their names. So Trevor Lawrence, Travis Etienne, CJ Stroud, Daniil Hunter, Will Anderson Jr. Fucking all of them are going to fall apart now.
I just sent you another clip. Knock. My question on this one is realistically, a player like this, first of all, do you believe this clip and how insane it looks? And second of all, would you be willing to draft this player as if he's the next Tyreek Hill after seeing it? Or do you need to see more, you know? Obi-Wan begging me to mention Lamar Jackson. Oh, that one I'll throw in for sure. Knock might not, but I'll Lamar. I gotta curse the man.
Sam, I'm not going to lie to you. My audio cut out. I heard you say Tyreek Hill and then look directly into the camera as if you were staring at me. And I don't know why the fuck you did that. So can you say that again, please?
I'm sending you a clip. Check Telegram for a clip.
Thank you.
And then my question is, would you draft this guy as if he's the next Tyreek Hill? Or do you need to see more?
Steve Adler, some guy named Ham just scored for the Vikings. So many possibilities.
I think he's a fullback.
Yeah.
Darvin Ham.
Sam, is your phone... this is going to sound stupid. Is your phone near the mic?
It is.
Move it away for a minute.
Am I getting feedback or something?
Why is that a thing that exists in 2025? Oh, yeah. 5-star recruit, Hunter Faveli Johnson. Let's see the speed.
Look at the distance this dude creates.
This looks sped up, and it's not.
It really does.
That's I mean, one, this is why this guy's a 5-star recruit. Two, no. Do you draft him as the next Tyreek Hill? I don't think you're ever going to see a guy like Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill had like legitimate world-class speed on the track, and it converted to the NFL, and he had hands, and he could run routes, and he understood football. There was a guy maybe 10 years ago now, John Ross. Do you remember John Ross?
Yeah, Cardinals?
No, John Ross was drafted to the Bengals in the first round after breaking the 40-yard dash record. I think it was like 4.21. And everyone was like, John Ross. We're going to draft him as a wide receiver. He's going to be the next big field stretcher in the NFL. The problem is the guy had 2 bricks for hands, could not catch anything, couldn't catch a beach ball. And I think part of the reason why Tyreek Hill is so interesting is because he's faster than everybody. He's smarter than everybody. He runs better routes than most people, and he's got great hands. The combination of those things make Tyreek Hill. Now, I will say, this is the fucking fastest I've ever seen anybody on the field. This is ridiculous. I watched this video 100 times now on stream, and this guy looks like he hits the NOS. Like there's a fucking Need for Speed burst in this shit. This guy's fast, but it'll be interesting to see. 5-star recruit, so he's in high school. He's still in high school for 2027, so he's not even in college ball until next year. A lot of football.
I'm going to tell you guys a quick personal anecdote. There was a kid. I played 1 year of football whenever I was like 10 years old, and we lost every single game that we played that year. But we had one kid. I was an offensive lineman. I was kind of a big kid growing up. We had one kid on the team that could score, and his name was Willie. And we would just hand the ball to Willie and pray to God. So every single play was some kind of end around reverse. It was some kind of jumbo set so that we would just block as many people as humanly possible, give Willie the ball and pray to Jesus. And he would score like 3 touchdowns a game, but we would give up about 8. So
Dude,
that
honestly,
was the experience.
I say this to everybody. My brother's in professional sports. I played college ball. I played football from the age of 11 all the way until I was 21. And I will tell you this, the best guy that you ever played with on your team, is fucking terrible compared to anybody else anywhere else in the world. So people
Yeah.
go, well, I could do this and I could play in the NFL, and could an NCAA team beat an NFL team? This year's championship team, the team who wins the national title, who looks like it might be Indiana. If Indiana wins that national title, the Las Vegas Raiders would beat them 475-0 every day of the week. Every player in the NFL is the best player that played on his college team. Every player that you've ever played with that was great went on to a team where he was an average guy. I played with this guy named Justin Howell. Justin Howell is a safety in the CFL. He plays for the Ottawa Red Blacks. He's been a safety in the CFL for 10 years. Played a year in a training camp in the NFL. He was the best football player I've ever seen on a field in real life. Him and a guy named Tyler Varga, who actually ended up playing for the Colts. Okay. Those two guys were like, to me, God, the best players that ever existed in football. They were going to be MVPs. You're going to be Hall of Fame players. They get to the pros. Tyler Varga gets bounced out of the NFL in a couple of years, never plays football again. Justin Howell has had a 10-year career in the CFL, but he's like a middle of the pack, maybe bottom half safety in the CFL. I'm telling you, Sam, this guy, much like your Willie, you hand this guy the ball, go get him, Justin. Justin played 100% of all snaps in every game. He played special teams, offense, defense. He was fucking the quarterback, the running back, and the wide receiver all at one point in time. And he was still an average player in the pros. These guys are so fucking good at football. It's crazy.
Dang, Steve Adler says we had a guy like that too. His name was Ricky, and then he went on to win the Heisman. Did you play ball with Ricky Williams?
No way.
That's crazy, dude. That's crazy. Knock, I just sent you 3 clips, okay? These are what I think are 3 of the best catches I've seen in a very, very long time. I want to go through these 3 and I want you to rank them out of the 3 that we have here.
Let me bring these up. Hold on.
These are disgusting moves. I never got an opportunity to play a sport with somebody that actually ended up going pro at anything. I snowboarded with a few guys that ended up being decent and like kind of fringe about to make the Olympics, but never could quite make it, because that's only like what 12 people make it to the final Olympic squad.
Yeah.
He says I did play with Ricky Williams. That's crazy, man.
Dude,
Sounds like Pierce
I actually
also scored another TD.
I played Alec Pierce scored a touchdown.
Yeah.
Let's go. This guy's a dog. Riley Leonard, Alec Pierce. I played football, believe it or not, when we were, I think it was the last year she was allowed to play with us. She played safety. Her name was Ronnie Remy. So I would have been 18, and she wasn't allowed to play with men, right? So the minute you turn 18, they remove girls from the league. But Ronnie Remy went on to be an Olympic skier for Team Canada. She is a multi-time Olympian, world champion skier. Played football with her, which was crazy. And then growing up in Canada, you play hockey, you play all kinds of sports with like 36 guys who are in the NHL. If you grew up in a town in Canada, there's a guy from that town who plays in the NHL. So it doesn't really count.
Sorry, I'm just realizing I sent you the wrong link on that one.
I'm like, this one is not a catch.
This is not a catch. But
and these are the same
it was
links.
pretty funny. Oh, they're all the same. Oh no.
Okay,
This one is crazy though. This one is crazy. Look at this shit.
Holy shit. Who is this?
That's so
Wait.
dastardly, bro.
Is this Shaq Johnson?
Dude, I have no idea.
I ran track against this guy.
What?
Yeah, I ran track against this guy. He went to a school near me growing up, and I ran against him in the 100 and 200 meter. This guy was a great wide receiver growing up, but he's a Canadian boy born and bred. That is an incredible catch.
That's so creepy of a coincidence after the conversation that we were just
super
having.
Strange. This is a great catch. That is wild. Okay,
Insane,
now
dude.
say what you want about the CFL and CFL football. It's not great. In fact, it's pretty fucking terrible. But we know what a catch is in Canadian football. And I will say there are a couple things in Canadian football that I would love to see in American football. The biggest of which is the width of the field. So in Canada, we play with one extra man, but the field is 15 yards wider and 10 yards longer. So there's a lot more movement, and the motion that is allowed pre-snap is crazy. So in the NFL, you have to set We've talked about this a lot on the show. You have to have 5 linemen and 2 guys to cover the linemen, so 7 total players on the line of scrimmage when the ball is snapped. In the CFL, that rule does not apply. So what you have in the CFL is guys who line up 15 yards behind line of scrimmage and hit the line of scrimmage at the moment the ball is snapped in a fucking full sprint. So to play corner or any sort of defensive back in the CFL, you have to be the most athletic human being on the planet because these guys are moving at full steam. You're at a standstill and the field is bigger. So a lot of the guys who come over from the NFL, they bounce out of the league, they go play in the CFL, they have a harder time playing corner and defensive back because it's just such a ridiculous amount of field to cover.
That's insane, dude. I mean, imagine just throwing from one side of the field to the other side of the field. That would mean that you're throwing it like 40 yards
Yeah.
for a 0-yard game.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts. It's pretty insane.
It sounds like somebody just hit a 67-yard field goal, which is another crazy coincidence after we were talking about the longest field goals of all time. That would put it at third, I think. Which game was that?
Did we just make like a reverse curse? That's the second longest field goal of all time. 68 is the longest of all time. Cam Little earlier this year.
The reverse curse. Jacksonville and Tennessee at halftime. Falcons approaching halftime. Texans approaching halftime.
Let's take a look at 2 things here. Bring up the Jets game. Okay. It's crazy that the New York Jets rank behind the Winnipeg Jets on SEO. So this game happens at 4:25. So we'll do this one retroactively. We're going to look at the Browns game. Browns, if you search Browns, you'll get Browns shoes. Not what we want. Shedeur Sanders with an incredible 2 turnovers and 50% completion for whopping 47 yards. Travion Williams, the number 1 rushing leader on the Browns today with 70 yards, and Malachi Corey with 19. What an incredible stat line at halftime, and the fucking Browns are winning.
Dude,
none of these guys have scored a touchdown, and the Browns were winning.
Shedeur Sanders has put up what can only be described as 15 times more passing yards than the Vikings last week.
It's true. It is crazy to me that the Browns do not have a single sack. So Browns, Myles Garrett to break the sack record still in play. Halftime, only half that game remaining.
Search the same thing, but go to the Green Bay Packers. I want to show you something. Look at our boy Clayton Tune's stat line. Let's see that juicer.
Ooh, dude, this is even sadder. Also, okay, let's be real here for a second. These 3 names, this is AI generated. Not one of these guys is a real guy. Clayton Tune, Chris Brooks, and Jacoby Keeney James. I'm positive that last one is fake. I'm positive that Jacoby Keeney James is not a real guy.
It's not quite Kool-Aid McKinstry, but I'll give him an honorable mention.
Yeah, both the longest field goals in history. Phil, that is crazy. Phil is in the room. Obi-Wan says, is Phil in the room with us? That is pretty insane. On the day that we were talking about the longest kicks in NFL history, we're looking at the 67-yarder, which makes it the second longest kick in history, hit by Cam Little, I believe, today, which would make it, Cam Little was hitting 70 yards in preseason, which was crazy.
Yeah, dude, that's absolutely insane that he would hit one of those in the midst of us talking about it. I think that there's going to be a lot of interesting players retiring this year, potentially. I was wondering, Knock, what your top 5 is. If I had to pick, I'm looking at Adam Thielen, who's now playing for the Steelers, another Viking in Harrison Smith, Levante David, the linebacker for the Bucks, Aaron Rodgers, I do think is going to end up hanging it up. And then number 1, you got to put Phillip Rivers. The retirement has to count. Arguably the most impactful player of the bunch outside of Aaron Rodgers.
I think, okay. 1, I think it's time for Thielen to hang him up. The guy has been bouncing around the league. He's basically just like a shell of his former self. So for me, it's time to go. Harrison Smith is getting up there in age, but I still think he has a lot to deliver and a lot to give. And I think that Vikings team, to your point, quarterback away, they've been there. They were 14-3 last year. I don't think he's going to retire. I think he wants one more year with a quarterback to come in and do something. Two guys that jump out at me, maybe three. Joey Bosa. He is now in his 30s. He's spent much of his career pretty hurt, and he's hurt again this year. I think that's a guy who probably looks to retire. He had a great career, but I think it's time to hang him up. Same vein, Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen is a guy who was pretty close to retirement last year. He's been close to retirement a number of times. Fun fact about Keenan Allen, he's actually an incredible jazz musician and was going to quit football to become a professional jazz musician. Thank God he didn't, because one of the greatest careers that we've ever seen from a wide receiver. Guy is an all-time great player, but I think he's going to retire this year. Stephon Gilmore, still not on a roster as far as I know. You got to imagine that Stephon Gilmore goes how far the former defensive player of the year has fallen, but it's probably time for him to hang it up. And then I think Calais Campbell is, 97 years old. He's played in the NFL since, the NFL merged with the AFC and the NFC merged. But I think Calais Campbell is probably done this offseason. He's been in the league for a very long time. And when you're 40 years old, 6'7", 300 pounds, you want to give your body a little bit of a break. So for me, those are the guys. I think Calais Campbell's a shoo-in. I think Travis Kelce's a coin flip. I think Aaron Rodgers should retire, but probably won't. And I don't think Harrison Smith retires. I think he stays. I think he plays another year. I think he has too much left in the tank. And I think he wants to see that Viking team do well. Harrison Smith is, in my opinion, one of the most underrated players who's played football over the course of the last decade. Wildly disrespected. Wow. One of the best players in the safety position for a decade. I don't want to see him go out on the backs of a JJ McCarthy season.
I'm sending you two clips here this time for real. There's two of the greatest fake outs in the history of football. I want to know which one of these you think is a more ridiculous juke. God, dude, this Clayton Tune 2 for 5, 10 yards. Let my man Tune sling. We put our boys in there and then we just ask them to hand it off 45 times. Let's see what Tune got.
Okay, I'm gonna pull this up. I'm not looking just yet. I'm gonna look now. Let's go to this one here.
Oh, spoilers. The low snap, fake punt. He points at him. You little Deion Sanders point, and then he still gets the ball off.
What the fuck was that guy doing?
I think he was trying to avoid blocking it and then running into the kicker, because that running into the kicker penalty is so severe. But so I think he's going off to the side and then just gets
jumps
absolutely
way off bounds. Look at this. He almost takes the fucking snap from the kicker. Look at this. How is it? Look at this next angle. Look at that. This guy blew the assignment. He's looking the wrong fucking way. Look, he's looking over here. Look at this. He's not even close. And this guy is on top of the kicker. That's wild.
Crazy.
Okay. That's pretty insane. Let's see this one. Oh, dude, it's this one. I remember this. I'll never forget this. Dude, listen, there's losing a rep and there's whatever this is. This is a career ender. A fake spin move. This guy is so lost. Dude, imagine the mind fuck. Right here, hold on. Just look at this. Just okay. This is great leverage. He's taking a good move here to block.
Him. Dead to right. Here.
Okay, he thinks he's spinning, so he's gonna turn around and get him. He turns around, buddy is nowhere to be found. Look at this. He's looking. Yeah, that's brutal. It's this one.
I love this is that his reaction to getting spun on was to also spin instead of just moving your feet, just a little shuffle, and he could have gotten back into position. He's like, nah, I gotta commit.
So wild. Okay, we have basically every game has gone into halftime. We have a couple games that are just about to start the third quarter. Sam, what do you say we take a 5-minute break here? We'll come back. We'll bring in another prediction available for you guys to win some packs. The Jets one will be done retroactively. Myles Garrett is still active, not a sack yet to be found. When we come back, we will have the third quarter of that Cincinnati game, versus the Cleveland Browns. Hopefully, we'll see if we can get a sack from Myles Garrett there.
Yeah, as we're about to go to break, let me just say nothing would make me happier than seeing Myles Garrett not get the sack record. As a generational hater of someone that ripped the helmet off of one of my favorite
And
players,
beat him with it.
well, not my favorite players, but from my favorite team at least, and tried to beat him with it. Well, successfully beat him
I was
with
gonna
it.
say he
Actually,
didn't try. He beat him with it. He did not try.
it would be incredible to see him go from basically he had like 4 games where he just needed to get 2 sacks. If he doesn't get it, I will be able to say forever that he sucks. It would be awesome.
He's gonna get a half sack and tie TJ and just own it together, which might even
That'd
be
be
worse
incredible,
than
dude.
breaking the record. Okay, we will be
I'd
back in
take
like
it.
5 to 7 minutes. We're gonna have a prediction ready to go when we come back. So stick around, go get a drink of water, stretch your legs. We'll be back. We'll have some more packs to give away after the break. We'll see you in about 8 minutes. Take it easy.
Back in a sec. 50 down, 100 up. So fingers crossed. All good.
Oopsies. Hello. You heard the a little bit of behind the scenes on fixing our internet and such. Um, but we should be good to go. No sound or vision. You should have just gotten a BRB screen for the last little while here, but looks like the stream is live. You'll be able to see everything again. Yeah, haha, you guys are back now. Google Willie Galt, says Steve Adler.
So is this a Ayn Rand reference? What's going on here?
American football wide receiver, Willie Galt. This guy looks like he was a dog. He had, wow, he played 11 years in the NFL, 6,600 receiving yards. Never 1K though. Pretty wild.
Damn.
Okay, we have a couple of things to look at right now. First, we are going to look at lines. What you just witnessed was me pressing the wrong button on the stream deck. That's why we came back a little bit earlier while Sam and I were still strategizing, talking about our internet connectivity. We're going to pretend like that never happened. We're going to look at the lines here. Indianapolis and Houston coming a little closer together. Cleveland and Cincinnati coming a little closer together. Wild that Cincinnati is still at 63%, considering the fact that they are losing the game. The Dallas Cowboys, a team who are playing a team who is literally trying to lose games, are currently down by 13 points. Truly insane. And as you can see, there's been a wild switch in the lines for that particular game. I feel less good about that now. Still, quarter and a half to be played. We'll see how that sort of plays out. Looks like there's a bit of a fight in that game.
If you're
pretty wild.
The Cowboys, the one thing you should be able to hang your hat on is sticking it to the Giants in the last game of the season and letting Dak go out there for 4 touchdowns in a few hundred yards. Yeah. They're getting cooked right now.
To go out there, play your players, and lose to the fucking Giants is not what you're trying to do.
With no Scatterbo or Malik Neighbors. Like, come on, man. Come on.
Okay, we got...
I love that Red Zone is double boxing on 2 games that are just sorting out officiating bullshit. Does anything else encapsulate the 2025 season more than this moment on Red Zone?
I have a clip. This is actually hockey. We're going to dive into FDF lines in a second, but a friend of mine is an Ottawa Senators fan. He's spent a few years in Ottawa, now lives back in Toronto, but entirely irrelevant information. Don't know why I said that. But what is not irrelevant is what I saw last night in the Ottawa Senators game. To me, maybe the funniest thing I've seen in a sports game in quite some time. You're going to see this play out in a second, but at the top of this screen, you're going to see a scuffle. Now, right here, this is Brady Tkachuk. Brady Tkachuk is like a known shit talker. Him and his brother are a bit of a problem children in the NHL. So you saw that little fight. You're going to come back here. You're going to see Brady, no helmet, holding his face, kind of bending down. You're going to go, okay, what the hell happened here? The weirdest sequence. And people are still talking about this, about how this was not a penalty. Now, what's interesting to note here is Logan Stanley is going to get 2 minutes for removing his helmet, 2 minutes for roughing, but Tkachuk is going to get a 10-minute misconduct here, a game misconduct off the backs of all this yelling and chirping. But wait until you see this actual clip. We're going to zoom up just a little bit here so you can see it. See, he's still screaming. He screams at the...
Losing his mind.
Yeah, he screams at the Winnipeg Jets bench. But watch this play unfold. So here's what starts it. Tkachuk hits Stanley. Then he looks like he's trying to stuff him into the bench. He's like grabbing his legs. Stanley takes off his helmet. Tkachuk's yelling, watching the play. Bang! Gets absolutely rocked. And the thing that makes me laugh about this clip is, one, in the NFL, when players fight, they're punching helmets. These guys at least have the brains to take the helmet off and then throw a punch. 2, Brady Tkachuk came out of this with twice as many penalty minutes as the guy who punched him in the face. I thought this was
and
just
he basically
absurd.
got knocked out.
Yeah,
Jesus.
You mentioned officiating. I figured I have to show this clip because it's a hot topic within, my Canadian friend groups here. Look at the quarterback position. Sorry, go ahead.
The games last night, both, especially the early one, had what was maybe the most outward defiant NFL announcing I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, the amount of times that they were like, that's not a penalty. I don't know what these guys are doing. This is terrible, was shocking. And then to cap it all off, after what was at least a quarter and a half of them saying, "This is ridiculous. I can't believe this is happening," they go, "We'd like to congratulate such and such referee on a 30-year career. He's done an amazing job. He's reffed Super Bowls, he's reffed Pro Bowls, he's reffed championship games, and this is his very last game." And then one of the announcers goes, "Enjoy retirement."
Okay, ridiculous. I got a note from my brother who says the Colts have found their quarterback. I got to look at this. Riley Leonard, 11 for
Oh,
16,
man.
200 yards, 2 touchdowns through the air, and a rushing touchdown. Alec Pierce, 4 receptions, 132 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Now, Woody Marks is the running back for the Texans. Looking at this stat sheet, I am now realizing that Woody Marks' real name is Jaquavius. So not sure how Woody came from this. But this is pretty interesting. Riley Leonard going up against a top defense in the league. It'll be interesting to watch that play out. Okay, back to quarterbacks. Dak Prescott, 1.7 points. Not a whole lot of action there at all. Williams has moved up again. Jaden Blue playing. Chase Brown now in 3rd place. And then Alvin Kamara for Estienne at the back in 6th. Tight end position, Tyler Warren, 2.5 points. Ferguson still no points at all. Wide receiver slot, Justin Jefferson in 1st. JSN, Tet McMillan. These guys came in at 1 and 2. Jamar Chase and Drake London now rounding out the top 5. I'm going to put up for our competition, our next prediction here. What do you think of this, Sam? Jefferson is in 1st place. He's got a significant lead, so I don't think it's fair to include him. Jamar Chase, Drake London, Nico Collins are within 0.7 points of one another. All of those games are about 10 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. Which of these 3 guys, Jamar Chase, Drake London, or Jaden Higgins, who's playing in for Nico Collins, will finish highest by, let's call it 3:45 p.m. Eastern?
3:45.
Yeah.
That's in about an hour and 45. Am I doing the math right?
No,
Is that in 45?
it's in 45. It's
in
in
45 minutes? Yeah, let's do it, man. Who you taking?
I actually am going to take Jaden Higgins for Nico Collins because I think he is playing the worst defense in a team that, frankly, look, Charvarius Ward on the IR, Sauce Gardner not playing, team is already out. Drake London just jumped up, so if you're taking Drake London, we might as well include Jefferson at this point in time because Drake London just jumped up. We'll go Jefferson, London, Chase, Collins. Which of those 4 receivers finishes with the most points at 3:45 p.m. Eastern? Make sure that if you're watching this on X, you post it on YouTube because it will mark everything. Everybody's kind of laughing here watching our boy out there jump. Steve Adler, knockout here, speaking Canadian.
Amazing. Yeah, a bunch of people saying Drake London right after that score, or actually, I think it was a 37-yard reception downfield. With that being said, though, if you guys want to change your pick, we'll take whatever the most recent one was. We'll give you about 5 minutes to get that in. I'm seeing something kind of interesting here too, Nog. I didn't catch this before the game. Cleveland expected to move on from Kevin Stefanski, their head coach. I remember a time where the Browns made the playoffs with Kevin Stefanski and Baker Mayfield, and then they proceeded to beat the living daylights out of the Steelers, where we, on the first possession of the game, snapped the ball over Ben Roethlisberger's head. We immediately gave up a touchdown. I think we ended up losing like 35-10 or something like that. And it was like, oh, Stefanski and Baker Mayfield are the future. It took about a year for them to move on from Baker Mayfield, but they kept Stefanski. And now it sounds like that also is going to be coming to an end. I opened up the Reddit thread, and the first comment is, if I'm the Titans, I am 100% running to hire him. And then somebody who's a fan of another team says, not if we do it first. Do you guys feel the same way, that this guy is actually a great NFL head coach that's just managing to sort of escape the doom that is the Browns? Or is there something else that needs to be said here?
I think there's a difference between being a really great mind for defense or offense and being an overall head coach. A great example of this is Chuck Pagano, who's the head coach of the Indianapolis Colts for about a decade. Chuck Pagano was one of the best DCs in the NFL, was a DC for all of those insanely strong Ravens defenses in the early 2010s, won a Super Bowl with the Ravens, went to Indianapolis as a head coach, just doesn't have it. Matt Eberflus was the head coach of the Bears, just doesn't have it. Was a great coordinator, couldn't figure it out. I think Kevin Stefanski is an incredible coordinator. I don't think he's a great head coach, and I think a lot of the shit that has happened in Cleveland is a result of poor locker room environment, right? That ultimately falls on the head coach. You're talking about a team who forced Baker Mayfield out of town because he wasn't mature enough, only to then give Deshaun Watson $500 million for a guy who was coming off a dramatic season, who sat out because he didn't like his contract in the year that he sat out, assaulted a bunch of masseuses, gave him $500 million. The guy's played like 11 games for the Browns. I think to some degree, yeah, you look at it and you go, is that leadership? Is that management? Is that the owners? Yeah. But the environment and the culture of that team is pretty shit overall. And I think Kevin Stefanski is probably a pretty big indicator that, hey, maybe this isn't a man who can lead an entire team, but can lead a defense. Cleveland Brown defense under Stefanski has been incredible. So I think that he's going to get a job. I think that he should get a job. I think that he's an incredible coordinator. I don't think he's a head coach. And I think the Titans hiring him, especially when you have a guy who's as young and immature as Cam Ward, that's a bad move for Tennessee. You need somebody who can, you know who they need? Tennessee needs Mike fucking Vrabel, the guy that they shipped out, then drafted Cam Ward, right? That's who they need. They need a Mike Vrabel. They need a Dan Campbell. They need a leader of men. They need somebody who can get that guy on straight. To me, I don't know. I'm not a fan of Kevin Stefanski at all.
Yeah.
At least as a head coach.
I don't feel particularly great about it either. I mean, at this point, it just seems like there's so many good minds to go after between college and all the coordinators that are finding success across the league. We're seeing that work out tremendously well for the Chicago Bears, taking an offensive-minded guy who's having a ton of success, giving him the opportunity to step into the head coaching role. I don't see why the Titans wouldn't try to do that in the same sort of situation. I don't feel confident looking at the Browns and going, hey, this guy has managed to do basically nothing except for ship off all of their best talent with Baker Mayfield, and then managed to make he's not the general manager, but I have to assume he had at least a little bit to say about the Deshaun Watson trade, which I believe is the single worst trade in NFL history. I know a lot of people think it's a trade from the 80s. I don't. They gave up a king's ransom and the most guaranteed money in NFL history for a guy that was completely useless on the field while also being a perpetrator and violator of like 27 different women. It's insane. And they got a year and a half that was so bad that they didn't even make the playoffs out of it. Yeah. Like that is the worst NFL trade ever.
And Steve is saying it best. Stefanski is a guy who's supposed to be a QB whisperer. And the list of QBs, the two best quarterbacks that the Browns have had under Kevin Stefanski was Baker Mayfield, who now plays for the Bucs, was ran out of town, and Joe Flacco, who they fucking traded to an in-division rival. So what does that say about Kevin Stefanski? It's not like they haven't used draft capital. It's not like they haven't brought these guys in. They've spent a lot of money. They've traded picks. They've drafted guys. They've drafted a number of quarterbacks. It just wasn't working. And it's a shame because there's a lot of talent there. There's actually been an ejection. So earlier, I kind of just said this in passing as we were watching, but there was a little bit of a fight, it seemed, earlier. If you guys are watching this right now, let me know if this screen is a little too bright. It looks like we're having that SDR issue again. I'm not quite sure why. I'm just going to continue clicking this button until it fixes.
Yeah, flickering.
Yeah, I'm spamming the button. Okay, so this was in that fight.
Bright again.
This is what we were talking about at the end. So this is Jackson Dart doing another dumb thing. And then here is that fight that I was sort of watching as we were chatting. But it looks like Ezekiel rips off a helmet of a Giants player. And I haven't seen it yet, but.
Oh, it's coming.
Dude. Oh, yeah, right there. A lot of face mask grabbing here.
Yeah.
And Giants player took it back. He's like, I'm not letting my boy get beat with his own helmet. That's a Pittsburgh thing only. Okay, wild. Funny that we were just talking about how in the NHL they're a lot smarter for taking helmets off before throwing punches, and then we see this happen. One thing I will say that was interesting to see, Dak Prescott is no longer in the game. They have given up on trying to beat the Giants, which is hilarious. So the Raiders, maybe by default, have, I guess, taken the first overall pick.
Damn, that's insane, man. The Cowboys, I mean, this is the most embarrassing thing to happen to them all year by far, and they should be ashamed for that. Dude, I don't know how this one slipped through the cracks, but I just stumbled on an extremely embarrassing play from the Packers game. There's also a great celebration from T. Higgins that I want you to bring up. 2 links in the chat for you. Oh, my
Emmanuel,
voice
what?
is holding on by a thread, boys.
Dude, you guys are in for a treat. I just read the headline of this video.
This one's a juicer.
Manuel
This
Wilson
is
runs for negative 18 yards.
this is why they say always move upfield. He's lucky he didn't get taken down
Okay,
for a
dude,
safety. That's disgusting.
Listen, I'm not going to dox the guy's name, but we had a guy named Curtis who played on my high school football team. Curtis was the fastest guy on the team. He was probably the strongest guy on the team. He was a brute, a really, really rough guy, understood football. Curtis was afraid of getting hit. And Curtis basically only ran east to west. Every single fucking rush attempt from Curtis for 4 years of high school looked a lot like this. There's a guy in my way, I got to find a way around him. Now, most of the time we're playing college ball, we're playing high school ball in Canada. There's not a lot of talent. And Curtis was just more talented than everybody, so he scored a lot. But this minus 18-yard rush, like 5-6 times a game under Curtis. Truly incredible. Wow. Reminiscing on the terrible, terrible running back play we had in high school. Let's look at this. Oh, this is jokes.
This one's fantastic. I love a good celebration. Me and my brother actually got to film with Antonio Brown before he went crazy and left the Steelers. And the entire video was Matt and Antonio Brown coming up with touchdown celebrations in one of the practice fields in Pittsburgh. It was so much fun, man. But it was really entertaining to be able to talk to them and get a sense for what it's actually like whenever they're brainstorming like what they think a good celebration is
Yeah.
going to be. But this is this is a fantastic one. Sitting down for some patty cake, somehow completely alone in the end zone too.
The funny
Nobody's
thing
within.
is, like, that's not even like the best celebration with the goalpost that a Bengals wide receiver has ever done. I think Ochocinco did it where he pulled a pen out from underneath the upright and signed a
Incredible.
football and kicked it into the fan.
Yeah, that one was fantastic. I also, speaking of Antonio Brown, there's an amazing one where he jumps like legs akimbo and straddles. He like
Oh
blasts
yeah,
his
do
dick
I do
into
remember
the-
that? Yeah.
into the upright. Incredible. Man, Jacksonville really is getting it done. I was saying, I don't know if I have the faith in them in a divisional game after all the times that they've let us down in the past. Jacksonville up 24 points right now. They're legit, man. They're legit. What do you thinking of their chances with the second seed to do some damage in the playoffs? Is there a chance that this is a team that could maybe go to the Super Bowl?
I think they have a lot of talent. I don't think that they're Super Bowl ready, but I think they are trending in the right direction. I'm actually really curious. So a lot of these games are wrapping up, or at least are out of reach for some of the teams that are being played. I want to start populating the playoff machine a little bit as these games go so that we can chat a little bit, because this is the final week in the regular season. So as it stands right now, it looks like New York is going to beat Dallas. So we'll put them in as the winner there. It looks like Indianapolis and Houston is still 50-50. So we'll wait for that to play out a little bit more. Obviously we saw the Seattle game conclude. We saw Tampa Bay and Carolina conclude. Cleveland is currently beating Cincinnati. I don't think that changes anything from a playoff perspective. Maybe some seeding. Minnesota is beating Green Bay. And then we have Jacksonville have beat the Tennessee Titans. Let's be real here. That game has been done for quite some time. I think that the odds on Kalshi have been 99% to 1 for the better part of the last 3 hours. So that game over, and it is Atlanta currently beating the Saints. This game has massive implications right now. So let's put them on top. And what has happened in the AFC? Let's make it a little bit bigger so we can pull this up and we can walk through it. But this is what currently the AFC playoff picture looks like. Now, a couple interesting things to note. Jacksonville, if they win and Houston wins, they will remain in that first seed. So no matter what, Jacksonville is going to take that first seed. Houston won last week. Really interesting to see. It looks like Jacksonville will finish in first, or in the AFC South. So they've won that title. That second seed as it stands right now gives them Buffalo. Buffalo plays the Jets, so they'll win. This is what the AFC playoff picture currently looks like. Now, there's a couple things
Yeah.
that can change here. If Denver wins, seeding gets reshuffled. LA comes last. Buffalo then plays Jacksonville. No matter what, it looks like Jacksonville and Buffalo are playing week one. Chargers win, Buffalo and Jacksonville. Broncos win, Buffalo and Jacksonville. Their seeding changes, but they play each other regardless. So that game all but looks to be locked in. If Houston loses, then Buffalo plays the 4th seed. Now, that could be the Ravens if the Steelers lose tonight. So quite a few things going on. The interesting thing here is right now, everybody in the NFC is locked in. Seeding doesn't really matter. There's not a whole lot of movement, if any, that can be had. The only thing that is interesting here is the Carolina in that 4th spot. Atlanta currently winning, so it's Carolina. But if the Saints win, it'll be Tampa Bay.
Man, these would be some incredible games if we just got this. Putting my own Steelers bias aside, Packers Bears in the first round, seeing Bills Ravens in the first round, the divisional matchup of Jags Texans in the first round, Chargers Pats. That would be a 60-point game easily.
I love this.
Rams Eagles. The Eagles still have a little bit in the tank, even though they've been dipping. I still give them a puncher's chance at taking out the Rams. The only matchup I'm not really interested in there is San Francisco against either the Bucks or the Panthers. I think San Francisco is going to end up winning by quite a lot. But with that being said, we're coming off a game where they just put up 3 points. 3.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Not a lot
if
of
you only
points.
put up, if you can't score at least 10, you're basically going to lose every game always. And so with that said, always a puncher's chance on the other side of that ball too. Obi saying that the Rams are too good for the Eagles. Steve saying that CJ Stroud is out. I'm assuming that's a sit and not a injury, but let me know if I'm wrong there.
That might be an injury because it would be crazy to sit him down 1 unless something happened while we were chatting that I'm aware of. Did the Colts take a bigger lead? That game is 24-23. They have the ball on Indianapolis 27. He might be out. No. Texans have been that makes sense. Texans are watching the scoreboard. That Jags game gives the Jags the division. The Texans cannot win the division. You're going to sit CJ Stroud to rest them.
So they're score watching the Jags game and saying it's out of reach now. Man, the Saints also are just barely short of the goal line, and that's to take the lead against the Falcons. I was giving them no chance without Olave and Alvin Kamara, and here they are proving me wrong. This is 4th and goal, and it looks like they're going to go for it. If the Falcons get this stop, absolutely massive. Don't the Falcons still have some kind of wild way to get into the playoffs, or is that completely out of the books?
They are completely out of the race. They're no longer in. Austin Jr. scores a touchdown. That would be Chris Olave.
Flag came in,
on the play, yeah. This game has implications for the Bucks and Panthers because of the way that tiebreakers work. Both teams have the tiebreaker over Atlanta, but if Atlanta wins, it changes the common matchups in favor of Carolina. And it looks like
this
that
is
flag
going
is
to end
be
up
on the
coming
Saints.
back from a pass interference. That had to be a pick, right?
OPI.
Yeah, there's no reason that player could be that open. Yeah, offensive pass interference for a pick in the back of the day. They blasted the Falcons player 8 yards out of bounds.
Dude, that guy was laying down underneath the goal line.
No way they go for it on 4th and 11, I think it's going to be now. So going to kick the field goal. Should be 13-10. Huge break for the Falcons on that one to get out of it still with the lead. Colts and Texans 24-23, and the Texans are driving. This one's looking interesting, but as mentioned, shouldn't matter now that the Jags are taking over. A 29-yard attempt is good from the New Orleans. I couldn't believe that Myers missed that 26-yarder last night, man. Just doinked it, bro.
Sorry, I dropped
and
my
you could
piece
see,
of my headphone here.
You could see the disappointment on his face. Like he knew, but lucky for him, it didn't end up costing them the game. But the Seahawks have been on the receiving end of some devastating field goal kicks that have ended up costing them. I think there was a 32-yarder that knocked him out of the playoffs whenever they missed it a few years back. And so, I mean, the PTSD has to be flashing in the back of the head of every Seahawks fan, regardless of the fact that it
Oh my
didn't
God.
end up
Sorry.
affecting them.
The most
Oh, a beautiful play from JJ McCarthy.
I actually think that may have been Max Brosmer who came in.
Did they? No.
What is going on here? It is Brosmer.
Oh my God, they did put the bras in.
He trips. Oh, dude. Somebody fucking fire these QBs into the sun. These guys are terrible.
And that was a fumble too. He got up thinking he was down and was like casually standing there and then gets speared by a Packer
Dude,
and fumbles the ball.
It is
That is
malpractice
incredible.
to have the guys that they had last year in Daniel Jones and Sam Darnold and to roll into this year with McCarthy and Brosmer. I cannot believe it.
That really is incredible, man. It's got to be so difficult. I think about this often. You know, you're a GM on a team and you have to make these decisions and then live with them for 3, 5, 7 years, right? Like to use well, I mean, even a football reference, again, the Deshaun Watson trade, like the Browns are still suffering as a result of that. I think a lot of the reason that they're 4-13 or whatever is because they gave up so many draft picks and they gave up so much cap space, right? That's gonna have a massive downstream effect. I think a lot about the Celtics and Brooklyn Nets trade, where the Brooklyn Nets got the big three all in one trade, but they were all 39 years old. And it took 4 first-round picks, and then they absolutely sucked.
Yeah.
There's a lot of circumstances where the only way out is through, and now you have to wait 5 years for yourself to fight through that. I can't imagine having to live with that kind of downstream consequence of saying, hey, we are going to sign Sam Darnold or we are not going to sign Sam Darnold. I mean, if JJ McCarthy ends up moving on because Darnold is now the guy, and then let's say he goes for 4,000 yards in another team next season, now you're kicking yourself because you gave up the next Peyton Manning or whatever. It's tough, man. It's tough out there.
Yeah, I do not envy the decision-making process, especially on the side of the quarterbacks, because we've seen it a dozen times now where a guy leaves and does something well. A couple of comments here in the chat. No idea why the Texans aren't treating this game like it doesn't matter. Steve, it doesn't really matter because even if they win, they do not get the 5th seed because Buffalo, as far as I understand, let's bring up that playoff machine to just make sure here. But if the Texans win, so if the Texans win, they do get the 5th seed, and playing Pittsburgh would be a lot better than playing Jacksonville. But I would argue that playing the Ravens, who are incredibly hot right now, is probably the worst outcome of the Ravens in Jacksonville. So I think that they're probably saying, hey, we're okay with either outcome here. But yeah, I do agree. It is a little strange that they're packing it in this early in the game. The other thing that was mentioned is, are you guys going to go through the late game so we keep up with the Jets? No, we're going to do the Jets retroactively over the course of the day. We'll continue to watch that. So if you have not gotten a prediction yet for the Jets and you want to, you're still able to make that prediction. That game starts at 4:25. We just wanted to share it because listen, a team to go the first team in history to potentially not have an interception. We just needed to share it. So just incredible to put that in there. And then Steve also says Pollard losing so much money today. Yeah, unfortunate, missing out on quite a few potential bonuses there and thresholds.
Can I just say I want to love anything just once in my life how much Knock loves the playoff machine.
Dude, honestly, it's so interesting to me because of the way the wild card works in the NFL, every game all season long matters. And people go, okay, hey, you're Canadian, why don't you follow the NHL religiously? And I do to some degree. And, I'm a big Raptors fan. I'm wearing the coolest fucking hoodie of all time. This is a Raptors TMNT collab. Which is super sick. And I went to the Raptors game last night. I like these games, but part of the reason why I'm not as excited about football or hockey or baseball is on an 82 or 160 game season, any individual game doesn't really matter, right? And even in hockey, towards the end of the year, there's maybe a couple scenarios that matters. The reason why I love the playoff machine is in football, every single game all season long matters, but especially over the course of the final 4 weeks of the season. Like, for example, right, you've got the Bucks and Panthers at home not playing today. Their game is done. They played last night. But what happens in this Falcons Saints game completely determines the future for those two
Yep.
teams in 2025 or in 2026 now. But so this is why I love the playoff machine. So many different scenarios, so many different things that can happen, so many ways to theory craft about what the next round of the playoffs will look like. I love this shit, dude. Especially as a stats nerd. It's like personally designed for me.
I think that this is why the NFL is the greatest league on earth. Like, as much as I just want endless amounts of football, it's clear that people's bodies can't take it. And that has made what is the most interesting season of anything, period,
Yep.
in the history of sports, in my opinion. Like, this is the peak. This is the epitome of what it should be. Every single game matters. Seasons are defined throughout the year consistently. And every year in the last week, there's at least 3 or 4 games where you cannot wait to watch them. Like, this week feels like a playoff week already.
Yeah.
And it starts next week.
And
You
for
know,
a
it's
couple
so
of
much
teams,
fun.
it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Steve says 1 NFL game equals 1 week of Major League Baseball games.
Yeah.
It's totally true, man. Totally true.
James Cook will have won that rushing title. It looks like Jonathan Taylor's out of the game.
Wow, man. Dang, that would have been a great bet to hit.
Yeah.
I don't know, 6 weeks ago or something. Jonathan Taylor looked like a shoe-in.
That fall off is insane.
34 yards behind James Cook as it stands right now. That's crazy, dude. Surprised they're taking him out too. I mean, it's always tough to say how much this kind of stuff matters to individuals, but especially whenever you're not going to make the playoffs or you don't feel like you have a shot at the Super Bowl, feels like it matters a lot. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm Jonathan Taylor, I would want to play the last quarter and a half for
Yeah.
a chance at that versus sitting. I can't imagine he's like, yeah, take me out, coach. I'm done, knowing that he's 30 yards away from this thing, you know?
Yeah, I don't disagree there. Crazy performance from Riley Leonard, though. 260 yards, 3 touchdowns, no turnovers against a top D. Maybe a little glimmer of hope for the Indianapolis Colts. Probably not, though.
Bengals are driving, but this game, who cares about this game? All eyes are on Myles Garrett, and that's it. He is now only a quarter and a half away from not getting this record, though. Dude,
Yeah.
the victory lap that I'm going to take if he doesn't get it is going to be unfathomable. I honestly, you can call me a generational hater. I think I want him to get this record, or sorry, I want the Steelers to make the playoffs even less than I want Myles Garrett to not get this record.
Yeah.
I think if I had to pick, I would take that one because at least the Steelers can end up getting a better draft pick. I don't love our chances in the playoffs to even win a single game. I would take it. I would take it. You guys can call me a hater. Andy Mack says it's done. I don't know what he is referring to.
Oh, no. I think he just said it.
He gets the record.
Phil, you
Right
need
as
to
I
clip that.
jinxed.
That is fucking
That's
incredible.
insane.
He did it.
That's
Myles Garrett is your sack leader. Wow.
what incredible timing. I cooked myself. Congratulations. I played myself. I should have known. I should have known. Brutal.
You're going to see me stare at the screen a lot for the next couple of minutes here, guys, as I read through some of these comments on what's happening. 23 sacks. Myles Garrett does it. If you voted yes, congratulations. They took him out of the game immediately. You got to figure he's not back in that game today. That is crazy timing. That's actually so fucking funny.
We've been live for 3 hours, dude.
The minute you say it, he scores. He hits it. Yo, people
That's
are like
so
crying.
funny.
People are kissing in the crowd. Let's see the sack
that's
too.
crazy.
Wow. Bull rush the man. Gets it.
Folded like a lawn chair, dude.
Dude, his team immediately starts cheering.
This kind of reminds me of the oh my god, why am I forgetting his name? Michael Strahan sack.
Dude, the minute I saw it, I knew you were gonna say it, so I didn't. It does, and I think people go, "Oh, what's his name? Who was it? It was oh my god, who was the quarterback that Strahan sacked? It was
It was the uh
oh my god,
hang on. Hang on.
what Favre? No,
Yeah, it was.
Favre lays down. Joe Burrow kind of falls down. Listen, those guys don't want to be the quarterback that has the sack record broken on them, okay? What's happening there is those are two guys who understand football and realize, hey, I've got two options. Get absolutely blasted by Strahan and Garrett respectively, or just fall to the ground and let him get the sack that way. He's got the sack already. So I'm going to take the option where I don't get hit.
I just linked the Strahan sack. Honestly, the Strahan sack looks more legit because Favre is practically rolling a bootleg into Strahan, and it's either get decapitated or lay down on the ground. In this case, it looks like Burrow could potentially move up in the pocket and escape. There is another D lineman there, and maybe Burrow just is prioritizing not injuring himself over everything in this game, which I would not blame him for as a guy who's torn his ACL in the past. But the Strahan sack actually, in my memory, looked more cringe. This makes a lot of sense.
Anybody who says that Favre gave this up, just purely stupidity. Like, look at this. Well, now we're looking at a whole lot of nothing. Favre even congratulates him, which good on him, but
yeah,
it's kind of crazy that this clip is this long and we're not showing the sack again.
It's all just congratulations, man.
Okay, we'll just refresh the entire page here. You can see him like clearly rolling out. Yeah, his options are die or lay down.
Yeah, it was play action bootleg straight into where Strahan was standing
every time.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys tell me in the chat, what do you think? Was this Myles Garrett sack? Was there any funny business or was it legit? You guys think it was a gift from Burrow, or do you think that was a genuine had him dead to rights kind of moment? Can we pull it up? Did we watch it yet?
Which one?
I played it a lot on Red Zone.
No, and I'm pulling it up. I'm trying to find it right now.
It's got to be on Reddit already. Professional Gambler says, bruh, I picked yes for the last 3. I said no this time, and boom, he hits it. I should have jinxed him earlier for you.
Here's that sack. I don't know. I kind of like, yeah, he's got some room to step up, but this guy kind of beats his block. So it actually does look like the guard loses this battle as well. I think Burrow just kind of ducks down. But he gets it.
I think if that's a playoff game, he
tries.
takes the hit and figures it out. Lomer says it was a gift. Obi-Wan says, yeah, Burrow is listening in here and decided to troll you. Andy says it looks a bit soft.
I think it's really easy. Again, back to that conversation about Justin Howell and your buddy Willie in that one year that you played. I think it's really easy to say that this is soft. I think it's difficult to realize that those are 300-pound men who are born to absolutely fucking brutalize you, and they both beat their blocks, right?
Yeah.
So your option is lay down and get hit by the guy you know is in front of you. So to me, like, let's see if we can show it here. Like, right at this point right here, this guard has already lost this block, right? And now at this stage, he's forced up into this. This guard engages. Guard loses it right there. Joe Burrow doesn't really have anywhere to go.
I can nod my head and agree with everything that you're saying, but I will still use this as an excuse to call both Joe Burrow and Myles Garrett pussies and frauds.
Hey, that's fair. Let's see if we've missed anything else. Oh yeah, here's that Brosmer. Oh yeah, we never showed this. We just laughed about it. This is Brosmer doing literally just tripping over his own guy. Somersault, gets up, fumbles the ball.
Just wait till, please tell me this has the second angle. Oh, dude, we gotta find it. The second angle of him standing up and thinking the play was dead because he tripped himself. And that means that he's down by contact, which is absolutely not true in the NFL. He stands up and just stands there and gets absolutely obliterated by a Packer.
We are
Incredible.
looking now at the 15 minutes left in this competition. Justin Jefferson in first, London behind, Chase in fifth, Nico Collins still down. Looks like Jaden Higgins hasn't done much since Stroud came out of the game. Ferguson now on the board, Tyler Warren on the board, Chase Brown in first place, Javonte Williams still in third place there. And then Dak Prescott, 1.7 points, is now out of the game. You're not going to get it. Justin Herbert looks like he is out. He is not playing today.
No way.
So Trey Lance will be in against the Broncos. Seems like a bit of an interesting decision on the side of the Chargers. I guess the argument there and the logic is basically, hey, we're in the playoffs. We don't really care who we play. Every game is going to be difficult. We would rather have our quarterback with a literal broken hand sit than risk breaking that hand. Really quick on the note of that, Bashal Tutton just vultured Travis Etienne. Herbie and Hampton are both out. Really interesting. Colts in the red zone. Yeah, lots going on. Okay, if you were correct and you said Garrett, yes, DM me at ITSGNOC on Twitter. We've been having some issues with people not DMing, so make sure that you do. Make sure that you share your in-game username and your wallet address, and we can kind of go from there. But make sure that you get it done. We're going to try and get those things sorted for you today as early as possible. I see Christina Mix, Cybernova coming in all really quickly. Ace also with the Myles Garrett sack. Make sure you follow up because I won't be chasing too much. Also, for week 5, a few of you guys have not received rewards. Holiday season, a couple of guys were late to answering. I'll bundle week 5 and week 6 winners together, so you should see a stream of rewards come in for those 2 weeks if you were correct in both weeks.
Yeah, trying to see if I can find the second angle of the Brosmer, fumble, because it was truly one of the worst plays of football I've ever seen in my entire life. And they have destroyed Reddit for clipping since the NFL took it over. It's so like sterilized.
Yeah.
It used to be beautiful chaos, but not the case any longer.
Yeah, now you can't show anything that makes players look bad or the league look bad or everything.
Yeah. Man, everything is just the 14-second version. Give me the juice. 14. Here we go, baby. Hang on a sec. Okay, just dropped it in the chat. Grab that, and you can see the amount to which Brosmer gives up on this play, which is insane, dude. This is just a thing that cannot happen in professional sports, period. You have to play every single play to the whistle. You have to make sure that you're always locked in. I don't care if you look dumb because you stand up and you start scrambling and then they blow the whistle and turns out you were down the whole time. You have to make sure
we saw
you
that
don't do something like this.
last week where the guy just touches the ball in the end zone and he scores a touchdown because everybody else thought the ball was dead. Yeah, this is stupidity.
Yeah,
this is
exactly.
brutal.
Can you click it again? It's super whited out, and try zooming in a little bit.
Oh my God. Can you see it?
Yeah, that's great framing. It's still that super bright thing. We'll superimpose it in for the clip, but this is crazy. He stumbles and then he just stands up and holds the ball out. It's just a gift. It's an absolute gift.
I think what he's doing is he thinks he's down by contact because he thinks he gets tackled, but he's just fucking stupid and he trips over his lineman, which is not down by contact. That's just you falling.
That is absolutely just him falling, and then he gets obliterated and he gives the Packers the ball. Brock Brosmer somehow following up a performance in which he only Max Brosmer, Brock Brosner, I don't care what his name
Lobster,
is.
baby.
He went from putting up a dynamic 3 points of 3 yards of passing offense last week to now fumbling in one of the most hilarious ways I've ever seen.
Alec Pierce got ejected in what? Listen, I'm not going to give my opinion on it because obviously I'm a Colts fan. There's a little bit of homerism here. I'm going to let you watch this clip, Sam, and you tell me. Does this warrant making contact with an official for an ejection?
Okay, let's see it. Was that did it happen?
That you got ejected for that.
What?
Not just me, not just Colts homerism there. That was just a big man moving his arms and a ref walking into him. Is that what you saw as well?
That's
That
crazy,
right there,
dude.
this little interaction, that's an ejection.
Did he even touch it?
I think what ends up happening is the ref is walking forward, Pierce is walking back, and I think right there they collide a little bit,
What?
but that does not feel like an ejection for making contact with an official. And
There's got to be at least like you like, put your hand on his shoulder
Yeah.
and like try to intimidate him or something, or like give him a little shove
that
or like
that
grab
seems
his
wild to
arm.
me. And then the comments are pretty angry at the way that played out. League is so
That's
soft.
crazy, man. That's nuts.
185 comments. The top comment: a disgusting act.
Filthy. Bro. I just keep seeing the Brosmer play over and over again. It's so wild to me, man.
It's a good weekend for ref fans.
Ref fans are feasting right now, dude.
Well, Alec Pierce was having a hell of a day too. That's tragic.
Yeah, it is. Could have put up
Leaves the day with
an all-time
132
game.
yards and 2 touchdowns in the third quarter.
Everybody's congratulating Harrison Smith on something in the Vikings game as if
That's it.
he's
That might be
retired.
it. Oh, it could be that they're at home, no?
Yeah.
So it might be his last home game. Yeah, dude, his whole family's there. Harrison Smith is retiring. Whoops.
Yeah. Knock earlier in the show saying he still had more in the tank.
I think he does, man. I think he does.
I think in a lot of ways that's the best time to hang it up.
But you know what he said?
Whenever,
He said it himself. Do you want to play until you're not good? And I guess the answer's not.
Yeah. Come on, Packers. I just need them to score 3 points here in order for this bet to hit. We had them at 13.5. I thought there's no way that the Packers can give it up like this, but here we are. Can our boy Clayton Tune bring us to the promised land? $150 in the balance of Clayton Tune's little fragile, dainty hands that have only thrown 4 passes before this game this year. Kind of crazy that they're not playing Malik Willis. What do you read into that on? Is he injured, or is it just
I think
that
it's
they
I think it's two things. So one, I would imagine that you keep, because Jordan Love has been battling injuries over the course of the year, you probably don't want to really gamble with Malik Willis now and risk him getting hurt and something happens to Jordan Love and then you have to play Clayton Thune in the playoffs. Whereas Malik Willis has shown himself as more than capable to run that offense. I think that that's the bet. The other piece is, that Malik Willis is also not under contract, so it's not like they would want to be trading him. I think it's more to do with Jordan Love's injury history than it is anything else.
Yeah, that's fair. Save him for the playoffs in case you need him. I'm curious, Knock, I'm looking at offensive rookie of the year winner. We looked at this last week as well. We were talking about Tet McMillan, Tyler Shuck, and Jackson Dart. Tet McMillan, especially after last night's game where he was pretty electric, including an important catch in the fourth quarter. They didn't end up winning that game, but it did give them a chance. Currently sitting at a 78% chance to win. Tyler Shuck at 10%, Jackson Dart at 8%, Travion Henderson at 3%, and then everybody else is pretty much not in the running. Jackson Dart, I saw somebody, I think it was Oliver, was saying at 6% that he was looking at Jackson Dart because there's a good narrative there because he's been putting up a decent amount of touchdown passes. And also the fact that he plays for a large market team, the New York Giants, he thought particularly made it interesting. Teteroa McMillan, playing for the Carolina Panthers, not quite as sexy. He's a wide receiver versus a quarterback, which are Tyler Shuck and Jackson Dart. Tyler Shuck sitting at 10%, also putting up a pretty decent game today, despite not having his number one target and his number one running back. Got to take that into consideration. Is there anything that you would touch here outside of Ted McMillan, or do you think it's hands down, it's got to be him?
I think it's Ted McMillan. And unlike the MVP, the Oroy is not really a QB award. Like, sure, you know, you look at the last, like, let's look at 10 seasons. It's Todd Gurley in 2015, running back. You've got Alvin Kamara, running back. Saquon Barkley, running back. You've got Jamar Chase, wide receiver. Garrett Wilson, wide receiver. So at least 50% of awards over the last decade have not been the quarterback position. I think Tedero McMillan's the best rookie by, you know, a mile, to be honest with you, in the at least at this year. Tyler Shuck, if he had started to have this breakout a little bit earlier in the year, I think he probably wins the award. I think he's a more important player. I think he's going to have the better career. I think overall he has more impact on his team. It's hard to look at Tedero McMillan and say, yeah, he's not the guy. He for me is absolutely the guy, which is crazy to say because at one point it was very clearly Tyler Warren and Mecca Ibuka, and both of those guys have fallen off a cliff.
Yeah, they sure have. I expected Jackson Dart to also fall off that cliff whenever he lost his best wide receiver in Malik Neighbors and his best running back in Cam Scatterbo. But honestly, he's continued to perform pretty well outside of making some insane decisions like, you know, tucking his shoulder down and taking contact on sidelines and stuff like that. But honestly, the guy's continuing to play pretty damn good. I think that there's going to be something to be said about Travion Henderson, depending on, well, you know, at the end of the day, there's just not really a good case to be made anywhere else. I think that Tyler Shuck was on the cusp, but he just played too poorly in the first half of the season.
Yeah, could not agree more. I think not coming out. Wow. 3 minutes left. And Jamar Chase, number one. Obi-Wan says, Sam Knock, what's your take on the over-under 30 SDF points for Puka today? I think he scores over 30, even if he doesn't play the whole game. I think, oh man, that's tough. That is tough. Look, Puka is not too far. Let's bring up the stats right now and see where he is on the leaderboard for receiving yards. As far as I remember, he is not too far away from JSN. So let's take a quick look. Bring up the stat line. We'll look at receiving. And we'll filter by yards. So he is about 100 and, well, he is pretty far. He's about 160 yards behind Jackson Smith and Jigba. Now, that's not out of reach. It's definitely something that he can do. He's also 2 touchdowns away from leading in receiving touchdowns. He's also currently tied with JSN for receiving leader. I am actually going to say, Obi-Wan, I'm going to say way over, because Puka has a shot, an outside shot, but he has a shot at winning the Triple Crown. He is currently tied in receptions. He's 160 yards back in yards. He's 2 touchdowns away from leading. Now, I think you can win the Triple Crown on a tie. He has a chance at winning the Triple Crown. I would go the over. I am comfortable saying the over. I think Stafford is a guy who has 2 Triple Crown wide receivers under his belt in Megatron and Cooper Kupp. He's a guy who absolutely loves to feed his wide receivers. To me, this means I think he's going to feed it. Now, hold on. Let's look at Devontae Adams, who might have more by way of touchdowns. Let's take a quick look there. I think he had, so he's actually quite a bit back, so he can't win Triple Crown barring a 5 touchdown performance, but he can win receptions and receiving yards. I'm still comfortable saying over. I would like to see 30 FDF points. Gets that big +3 for the hitting 100 yards to get there. I like to see it. I'll go over, Ben.
What are the Rams playing for today?
They are playing for just seeding, as far as I know, and I guess Stafford MVP. You know what, Sam?
There's no chance for them to get the first round bye, is there?
No,
like the
Seahawks,
no.
Seahawks are clinched. They have gotten it. If the Rams win, let's see, where are the Rams? Am I blind? Do you see the Rams here?
Yeah, the Eagles. Oh wait, you mean on the top row? It's a little bit blurry on my end. Can't quite make it out.
Let's see. So we've got Eagles here. I mean, I guess the Rams are technically playing for seeding, but that's really it.
Yeah, it's always
It's
tricky
tricky,
to
yeah.
tell, yeah, how much they're gonna care. I think this is possibly a sit 'em situation. It's possible that they sit 'em at halftime if they just decide that it's not worth the risk. Um, yeah, I
Okay,
don't know.
actually,
Depends how beat up they're feeling.
so if Eagles beat the Commanders, the Bears beat the Lions, even if the Bears lose to the Lions, in either way, the Rams can finish fifth. And from my perspective, a playoff game against the Bucks is a lot better than a playoff game against the Bears or the Eagles. So
I
there
would
is
agree
quite
with
a
that,
bit. There is
even if it's on
quite
the
a
road.
bit, and I think that they're going to look at it the same way, right? There is quite a bit to play for. You're talking Bucks or Panthers versus two of the top teams in the NFL right now, in the Bears and Eagles. Uh,
And that's with a win, they get the
a
Bucks
win
or
would put them
Panthers?
in the fifth seed, which gives them ahead of San Francisco, assuming actually, yeah, it puts them ahead of the 49ers no matter what. So I would say that they've got quite a bit to play for. MVP, receiving yards leader, fifth seed. Looks good.
Yeah, that would also mean that if the Niners beat the Bears, then they have to come on the road to the Rams, and in that divisional matchup, you have to care a lot about home field advantage there. Uh, on a lighter note, I just sent you a clip. If you could pop this open, I talked about the reffing in the Bucks Panthers game. It was so bad that even the announcers for like 6 or 7 consecutive plays on a drive were beside
Dude,
themselves. And this
I
is
saw this. This is the fucking funniest thing.
this is so good, man. This is NFL refs whenever the Panthers are moving the ball versus the Buccaneers. It was like 4 plays in a row that the Panthers were absolutely crushing ass, and the refs would call it back over and over and over again on these sort of half-assed calls.
Yeah, that's good. All right, let's take a look at these games and see where we're at as we're winding down. Okay, 347 is past. We are looking at the wide receiver spot. It is Jamar Chase. So if you bet
Wow.
Jamar Chase, DM me. If your prediction was Jamar Chase to be leading by 3:45 p.m., DM me at ITSGNOC. Make sure you DM me on X, or we will not see it. You will not receive your reward. So make sure that you make your way over there right now. Say yes, Chase. And I will log your names down and make sure that you get your rewards at the end of this day here. Yeah.
And here we
Obi-Wan
are
saying,
again
sorry, who?
with here we are again with the Saints with a chance to win it in the fourth quarter, driving as Tyler Shuck runs for 20, 30, 35 yards down the middle of the field. These guys just never lose by more than a touchdown. They're always in it, man.
Ben saying they want the fifth seed. McVay said they'll start all the top guys. Yeah, they're really going to push for it. You want to see it. Yeah, so if you send me a note, make sure that you say you bet Chase, you predicted Chase. That will make sure that you get there. I see a couple guys come in for Myles Garrett. I saw a couple guys come in for the Falcons. I have not seen a whole lot of guys come in yet for Jamar Chase. So make sure you say Chase yes. Mix, I saw your answer. Congrats on getting more than one right today. That's awesome. Wow, some guy completely unrelated, but I don't know if you guys are gamers fan. I just saw this clip. This just got linked to me in one of my group chats. Some guy completed the North American Xbox 360 collection. Every game ever released in North America on Xbox 360, he has a physical copy.
Jesus, dude.
It's pretty crazy.
Have you seen those guys on TikTok that just literally live stream themselves in a room full of games on shelves?
I saw this guy with DVDs.
Yeah.
I know that they're fucking lying. I just don't know how. There's no way you've got a room full of 7,000 DVDs and somebody goes, "Hey, do you have Mad Max the original?" And he like walks over to a particular corner of his bookshelf. He's like, "Yeah, it's right here." Dude, I have books. Look at this. All the books behind me. That bookshelf is not even that big, and I don't know where all the fucking books are. There's no way this guy knows where all the DVDs are.
It's so funny, man. Oh, people are saying that it looks like a Falcons interception. Tyler Shuck, 3rd and 7 on the 20.
And there it is. Wow,
Oh, just
jumped.
throws.
That might be for 6.
Is he taking it to the house? Shuck is trying to track him down, and he is
Yeah.
going to be able to force him out of bounds. But that's
Let's
huge
refresh that quick.
for the
We might be a little
Falcons.
behind.
Practically all the way in scoring position already. They should be able to kick a field goal from there, which would put them at a 9-point lead and make the game unattainable. We'll see if they're able to execute on that.
So a few games here have hit full time in the 1 o'clock slot. Green Bay, Minnesota Minnesota taking that win. They are full time. Jacksonville beats Tennessee. You've got 26 seconds left in the Cleveland Cincy game. Cincy currently with the 1 point lead. Looks like they'll take that game. Indianapolis, Houston still live. 10 minutes left in that fourth quarter. Again, that Alec Pierce loss was having a day. That's going to be tough for the Colts to kind of come back from there. New Orleans, Atlanta, 3 minutes left. And then Dallas and New York, just over 5 minutes. It looks like that game is pretty much over as well, though. Christina, I saw that you sent that through. Mix, thank you for sending it through. I know more of you guys have said yes for Chase, so make sure you are DMing me on X at ITSGNOC.
Oh, Steve Adler says Jonathan Taylor actually is still running, so maybe he'll be able to break one off and end up making a difference there. Falcons just going to be content to try and run the clock down a little bit. And a great shot there of the Falcons, or sorry, the Panthers fans celebrating the Falcons interception. You love to see that if you're a fan of the Panthers. I have some money from a few weeks ago still riding on the Panthers making the playoffs. I just decided to ride this one completely out. So despite being a little bit more of a Bucks fan than I am a Panthers fan, I'm rooting for them to make it into the playoffs. Bengals and Browns only separated by 1 point here. The Browns do have the ball, one timeout, down a single point with 24 seconds left. Not sure exactly where they are on the field, but they have a chance here. If you're a Browns fan, you absolutely do not want to win this game, though.
No, you do not. Actually, let's see if I can find the inverse of the playoff machine. Let's see if I can find.
Yeah, the draft pick machine.
I think it's Tankathon is the website, which is fitting.
Oh, the Browns are on the 36, it looks like. Shedeur Sanders throws a bomb. Jerry Jeudy. Oh, just barely out of reach. Oh, sorry, it wasn't Jerry Jeudy. It was Bond. Yeah.
Yeah, as it stands, wow, the Giants winning this game would knock them out of, not only would they not be first, they would drop down potentially below the Jets because the Jets are going to be playing the Bills. So the Giants would move. Last week, that game against the Raiders is all that you need to know about it. Is last week the Raiders and the Giants were playing for first pick. Looks like the Giants now might even fall out of the top 5 down to as low as 6. Cleveland with a loss today would put them at 4-13, which would move them into the top 5. Yeah, that's crazy. It looks like Vegas basically has, well, Vegas does have that first overall pick on lock, barring a win today, which can't imagine why they would do that. They've lost 10 in a row.
The Browns are about to kick, I think, about a 50-yarder to win this game.
Would be so Cleveland.
If I'm the GM, I'm picking up that phone behind the bench, and I'm saying, hey, there's a bonus in it if you shank this, because this is for
Cleveland.
Probably 2 slots in the draft position,
maybe
which
even
is
more,
basically
3.
If you end up getting somebody to trade you, those 2 spots, whenever you're that high, are worth at least a second rounder, if not a first round. Yeah. One field goal kick is about to decide your ability to basically get another first round pick. 49-yarder.
And they hit it.
And he nails it.
That is hilarious.
Cleveland.
Flag on the play.
Oh, flag? No way. They're celebrating like they just won the goddamn Super Bowl, too.
Because you got to think about it. The players want to win. They don't give a fuck about draft pick.
I mean, if I'm Myles Garrett and I know I'm going to be there for the next 10 years, I think I do care about the draft pick.
But if I'm 30 though, right? He's on his way out.
No way, dude. He's going to be there for at least another 5 years.
Yep. Hopefully.
Hunter Henry should be automatic TP, says Steve Adler. Yeah, man, with the way the tight ends are playing today, I'd be shocked if New England, who's actually playing for something, isn't able to do that. Yeah, Cleveland literally picking the field goal kicker up like he's fucking Rudy, taking his ass around. You guys know that was to finish 5-12, right? Oh. Jesus Christ, 5-13. My God.
The Colts in the red zone now. Looks like Goodson's in. They're on the 12.
Yeah, it does look like they're going to be in a pretty good spot to potentially win this game. Davis Mills in at quarterback, and he has not been playing particularly well. I'm
So
curious what's going on in
Indianapolis.
the Atlanta game.
So Indianapolis to win the final game of the season when it doesn't matter. At least Riley Leonard looks good. 300 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 total touchdowns, and an interception.
Cower says, I bet $11 on the Browns and 150. Let's go. You love to see a quick 4X, even if it's on the Browns. What's the final score in the Packers game? Did they end up getting that field goal,
No,
or is that
16 to 3.
Oh, wait, 16-3?
Yeah, so you hit it.
Oh, we hit, boys. They kicked there were there was literally 29 seconds
Was it
left
13
in the
and a
game.
half?
13 and a half.
Oh,
I'm
shit.
almost certain. That's so funny, man. Holy.
You know, it's crazy.
Yep, 13 and a half.
I thought the 1 o'clock games would go long today because, you know, we took that break at 2:45 at halftime. And now just over an hour later, every game is wrapping up, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. A lot of games are being run down. I mean, you can just tell too that teams are not caring to the same degree that
Oh,
they
yeah.
usually
Most
do.
of these games are nothing burgers. Crazy though, Saints and Falcons. This game is the game with the highest amount of implications. The Texans still winning, could lose. This will drop them down. Ball back in the hands of Tyler Shuck. Wow, he got hammered.
Slinging. 3rd and 5 for the Colts. Oh, out of bounds. He's going to be stopped short. They're probably going to kick this. Well, they're definitely going to kick this field goal. So the Texans are going to have 2.5 minutes to go down the field and win. You said that they're playing for some seeding still?
Yeah, the Texans are. There will be a seeding change if the Texans can play the 4th seed, which would be the Steelers right now.
And that's if they win?
Yeah, they have the tiebreaker on the Bills.
Dude, put CJ Stroud back in for one drive.
That's what Steve Adler was saying a little bit earlier. It's kind of weird that they're treating this as like a nothing burger.
I mean, I guess the Bills, though,
Listen,
are they playing that much better than the Steelers?
I think every wild card team would prefer the Steelers over the Jags or
Thanks, bud.
yeah.
Thanks, bud.
Listen,
Thanks, bud.
let's be real here for a second, Sam. I think if you're looking at your options are you're gonna play either the Steelers, the Jags, or the Broncos Pats.
Okay, well, definitely not those three.
You're gonna
But the Bills,
you're gonna take the Steelers, right?
the Bills. I mean, at least we have DK Metcalf. They're throwing to Khalil Shakir.
Yeah, but the
I-
Bills
you know.
can only place as high as 5th. They've lost the AFC East, right? So if you're the Chargers, the Bills, or the Texans, what you're playing for is to play the 4th seed. You're playing for 5th place. And if I
Yeah.
remember correctly, the Bills actually lose the tiebreaker to both the Texans and the Chargers.
4th and 1, and there is a pretty intense running play. One of those sort of rugby scrimmages where both teams are just kind of shoving back and forth. And I think he just barely got it. So the Saints staying in the mix. Steve saying Jags have won
Yeah, Jags
8
are hot, dude.
straight. They are super hot. Oh, but the Falcons are looking at challenging, actually. It's going to depend on when they blew the whistle. Because it looks like he did stop his forward progress, and then the team pushed him forward. I can't believe the Packers covered. That's so funny, dude. 13 and a half, and we needed every last half.
Yeah, it looks like the Falcons are going to win. Phil asked a good question in our little production chat here, and I think this is a good moment to kind of bring it up live on stream. We will be doing one more show. We don't know if it will be first week of the playoffs or saved for a later time in the playoffs. I think that's a conversation for Sam and I to sort of have offline. But we want you guys to know that the show Amplify does not end today. You will see us again in the 2026 season. Especially now with the news of some of the TP, maybe some things will be moved around and changed a little bit, but we kind of just want to let you know that yes, we will be back in 2026. We will be doing some content in the off season. You will see a lot of Sam and I over the course of the year leading into the 2026 NFL season start. We're going to figure out what that next episode looks like, if it's a regular episode like this or if it changes a little bit. Obviously, format feels really great when you have multiple games. That won't be the case during the playoffs. So we'll figure out what exactly that looks like, but you will see us again in the 2025 season.
Yeah, we're super excited about doing a playoff game. I think the wild card does make sense just because there's so many games going on, but at the
Yeah.
same time, we might be able to do something really special where we just focus on one game and have a ton of different stats and different over unders, props, whatever that we're looking at. Excited to figure it out one way or the other. And then we mentioned this last week, but I'm really hoping that we're able to convert Amplified to being NBA focused whenever they release basketball.fun, because Knock and I are both huge NBA fans as well. I also love MMA, and so does Knock. So I think there's a lot of opportunities for us to continue Amplified. But at the very latest, you'll see us back here next year for the next NFL season, because we can't stop now. We've actually been doing very well with all sorts of clips on different social media platforms. I think we've proved the concept that this is good content, and we're super excited to see where we can go.
Sam, we missed this, and I don't know how we missed this, but I got maybe the craziest clip of the week. The Colts ran a fake punt on 4th down. They convert. So they're 4th and 5,
Okay.
right? Here's the fake punt. Nice little off. Mo Alley Cox comes down
Dang,
with that
that's
ball.
a
We convert.
dime from
Hold
the
on.
punter. What?
But watch what we do. 1st and 10 now. We've converted. Do you realize who hasn't left the field? This is
The punter?
Rigoberto Sanchez converts on this play. Mo Alley Cox, rainbow. What a ball.
That's a beautiful pass.
Big body. Great throw by Rigoberto. Looks very different than the fake punt that Pat McAfee tried to run all those years ago. But here's what's interesting. On 1st and 10, the very next play,
He's still out there?
the punt team is still out there, and the Texans defense does not know what's going on. This is 1st and 10. They ran 2 punt
What?
formations back to back, confused the shit out of the Texans. They don't know what is happening. They run a play, another fake punt on 1st and 10. Texans don't know what's going on. They get a flag. Free 5 yards.
Was that intentional?
I hope so, dude. Listen, we've seen some crazy shit happen with the Colts over the years on punt teams, but yes, they ran 2 fake punts back to back.
Is this Matt? Did they let a 12-year-old in Tulsa take over?
This is the
take
kind of
over
shit
play
I
calling?
do when I'm playing my brother in Madden, like over Christmas break when I'm down 1,000 points and I'm like, well, I gotta go for it here.
Insane.
Sam, you should hopefully be able to see the zone again.
And it worked.
Yeah, crazy.
It worked. Oh, the Saints managed to get in the end zone. 1 minute and 11 seconds still on the clock. 0 timeouts for the Saints. They're going to need an onside kick. Very rare this year.
I'm actually just laughing at this, watching this shit. Could you imagine the absolute mindfuck
Crazy, bro.
of seeing a team come out on 4th down in punt formation, faking the punt, converting, and then they run another punt on 1st down? Of course the defense is going to get flagged. It doesn't make any sense. Wow, big
Dude.
catch. Big catch there.
Yeah, great one-hander from another Saint that I can't name. I What do you mean? Of course, they're going to get a flag on defense for running a second fake punt on 1st down. I mean,
Dude, do you know how
if it was automatic,
do you know how confused
everybody
you
would
must
be
be,
doing it.
dude? Listen. I think that's the sort of thing that only works one time. But do you know how confused you are to have a team convert on punt? You're pissed off. Team, you send out your defense now because it's 1st and 10. The team says, no, we'll keep our punt team on. Now you're mismatched. You have guys running all over the field to try and figure out what the fuck is going on. The Texans don't call a timeout. You're going to get a too many men or an illegal formation or an offside on that play because, of course, you're not prepared for another punt.
That's insane, dude.
I can't
It
believe we
just
missed
reminds
that. I gotta
me.
watch that back after. Yeah, Ben Shuck is really good.
Yeah. He's saying Ronnie Ball was the wide receiver on that one. Yeah, this is
Ronnie
crazy
Ball,
that
another
he's
guy you just made up right now.
yeah.
Dude.
Another Madden character that was randomized. Let's see the onside kick. Do the boys have any magic? Oh, good little spinner. Unable to get it though. That's going to be a Falcons W. Game over. That means the Panthers seal a playoff
And the
berth.
Panthers are in. Wow, that's crazy.
Wow. Falcons, that's Kyle Pitts. He actually dropped the onside kick, but managed to re-secure it as he was going out of bounds.
Kyle Pitts is going to be an interesting guy in free agency. I think you're going to see him
Yeah.
move. I don't think.
What kind of contract do you think he gets? Can't be more than like 7 mil a year, right?
I think he
Like that one
probably gets
crazy
signed.
game.
I think like probably around 10, to be honest with you. I think somebody takes a flyer and goes like 2-3 years, 10 at
Yeah.
30. I think Kyle Pitts. Think about this. Kyle Pitts is in his 5th NFL season. He is 7 months younger than his rookie quarterback, Michael Penix. So
That's interesting.
I
Yeah.
think there's lots of football ahead of Kyle Pitts. I think his best football is ahead of him. I think that's a guy. Hey, listen, Travis Kelce retires. I think Kansas City looks really interesting for a guy like Kyle Pitts. He's 25 years old. He kind of resets the clock on the tight end position there. I think it could be interesting.
This is awesome. In the Saints Falcons game in Atlanta, they're showing a bunch of people with Panthers jerseys celebrating like they just won the Super Bowl. It is an awesome
Did you?
sight to
I don't know
behold.
if you just saw as you were talking there, I'm pretty sure what looked to me like the Falcons kicker just did a backflip.
No way.
Hold on. I
missed that.
need to find
That's
this. That
crazy.
was. Did anybody see that? If anybody's watching, can you please send me that?
Steve Adler saying, I just bought another 30K of Ashton Genty. Raiders should let him cook. Man, I'm afraid to touch anybody on the Raiders not named Brock Bosmer or Brock Bowers, right? I can't get Brosmer out of my
Do you
head.
remember
He's
Brock
living rent
Lobster,
free, dude.
the
Yeah,
quarterback
the
for
Browns
Denver?
quarterback.
Holy shit, dude.
Oh yeah, the Denver quarterback that
He
became
played 3 games. And made
then got a
a
huge
bajillion
contract.
dollars.
Yeah. Man, sometimes it is all about timing. What was his real name? Brock Osmer, right? Brock Oz something.
What the fuck? Nah, Brock Lobster.
Osweiler. That's what it
Osweiler.
was. The Brock Lobster. Yep.
Sounds like a guy from fucking Wild Thornberries.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a crazy reference, dude.
Nigel
That's
fucking
so
Thornberry,
funny.
man. He was the quarterback of the Browns.
Oh man. Last game that we have.
I'm fucking crying now. Made myself laugh. Holy shit, I'm gonna go watch that now. Brock
Oh,
Lesnar
man.
playing for Las Vegas.
The Texans now running the clock down. Looks like they're going to be content to kick a field goal with 40 seconds left. They're just going to run this one up the gut one more time and see if they have it in the leg. This is going to determine a winning or losing season for the Colts. Some playoff seeding for the Texans.
Here's an interesting tweet. Annual tweet. We are about to finish the 5th 17-game regular season in NFL history, and once again, no one has come close to Peyton Manning's 16-game 2013 season. 5,400 yards, almost 5,500 passing yards, NFL record. 55 TD passes, NFL record. 115 passer rating, NFL record. It is crazy that half a decade in, no one has even sniffed it. I don't even think, now I might be wrong, but I don't even believe that we have seen a 5,000 passing yard season in the 17-game schedule.
I don't think so. And one more thing to put that into some context, Caleb Williams has the chance, if he throws for 270 yards today, to be the first quarterback in Bears history to throw for 4,000 yards. So
Yeah.
1,400 less yards than Peyton threw in that season with one less game. And
It's
the
crazy.
Bears are a franchise that's been around for 100 years, dude.
Yeah. I mean, their
100
current
years.
leader, I think, is Smoking Jay Cutler.
Yeah, dude. Jay Cutler that threw 40 picks every single season and somehow still took his team to the playoffs, threw for more yards than any Bear in history, and it was still 1,500 less than Peyton Manning sniffed in that year. That's crazy, dude.
Ben Obi-Wan
Crazy.
saying, without a doubt, Gentis, Bowers, Olave, Shuck, Adams, Stafford, if added, will all excite me for next season. I'll give you a name. A name that I think, two names that I think will go nuts next year in FTF. Number one, we see him today. He's had an incredible game. Alec Pierce, I think, is a guy who is designed to win FDF weeks with the format, the structure, the fact that you get bonus points, the fact that it's about can you place in the top 3 to 5 of your position on a weekly basis. Alec Pierce is not a guy who's consistent, but he's a guy who, when he goes off, he goes off. Today was a great example of that. I think that that's a guy that you want to look at in football.fun next year. The other name is Luther Burden. I don't think it's Roma Dunze. I don't think it's DJ Moore. I think it's Luther Burden. You're looking at Luther Burden. He has more yards per route run than basically any wide receiver in the NFL behind only a couple of guys. He's a guy with all of the talent in the world. He's a guy who obviously Ben Johnson loves. He's a guy who got involved a lot last week, and he's a guy that Caleb Williams looks for. I think another year there, Luther Burden is a sleeper. I think he's is somebody that people are not paying attention to. I think he's going to be somebody who takes off. DJ Moore only has one more year on the contract with the Bears. I think you likely see him leave, and they roll with Roma Dunze and Luther Burden. I think Burden is a guy who's going to have a second or third year breakout.
That's a great shout out, especially the yards per route run. Very interesting.
Which is a really interesting metric, honestly, because it is an indication of how effective you are on the field, right? It means, hey, you might not run the ball a whole lot, or you might not run a whole lot of routes, but what do you do when you do run those routes? And Luther Burden is at the top of the list. Also, it looks like the Texans will end up winning this game. They came out of it ahead with that field goal. So the Texans will lock in the 5th seed. That means effectively the Bills and the Chargers are playing for nothing. Those teams really cannot move. If the Chargers lose, the Bills will have the 6th seed. If the Bills lose, the Chargers will have the 6th seed. But other than that, not really a whole lot. You're not really playing anything. You don't want to play either the Jags or the Broncos or the Pats. So those games are locked in. It also looks like this is the last game of the 1 o'clock window that is still on. What were you saying, Sam?
I was just going to add Steve Adler saying 2022, Patrick Mahomes threw for 52-50, which is crazy. I don't even remember him slinging it like that, but Jesus. Brady and Herbert in 2021 both threw for over 5K. That's crazy, man. Dude, what an NFL season it's been, brother. This has been a great one, honestly.
Yeah, man. Honestly, one of the more fun seasons, one of the seasons that have been the most wide open. We are at the end of the 1 o'clock games here, so we're gonna do a little recap here. This has been one of the craziest NFL seasons in some time. No Chiefs in the playoffs, no Bengals in the playoffs. The Ravens look human. The Bills, I think, are pretty fraudulent, to be honest with you. I don't think that they're going to do well. I don't think that they're built for the playoffs. You can't go in with a wide receiver 3 in any other team and expect to do well in the playoffs. Despite having Josh Allen, despite having James Cook, there's just not enough talent on that team. I don't think that they look great. It's really interesting. And then meanwhile, on the other side of the ball, the NFC looks incredibly strong. So it'll be interesting to watch this sort of playoff over the course of the next couple of weeks.
The Texans defensive end takes the endless flip play back to the house.
Tommy took Guy, and there you go. More pain for the Colts. Honestly, no more fitting end to an Indianapolis Colts season in which they started 8-2 and end the year 8-9 than what we just witnessed. 7 straight losses, an absolutely tragic series of events from the quarterback position. Okay, that brings us to the end of the show. Let's take a really quick look at FDF and see what we've seen there over the course of the day. Baker Mayfield came into the day number 1 overall, leaves the day number 1 overall. Dak Prescott with a disgusting 1.7 points. The QB position is free. As long as you come in there, you're a warm body, you got a heartbeat, you're probably going to place in that top 3 over the course of the 4 o'clock games. You look at running back Chase Brown, leaves the day number 1. Alvin Kamara, off the backs of his TM, comes in and places 3rd. Javonte Williams off the backs of Jaden Blue comes in on 4th. And then Christian McCaffrey rounds out that top 5. Bijan Robinson, Jonathan Taylor, Travis Etienne, Rico Dowdle not able to break into the top 5. You look at tight end, Tyler Warren at 7.6, George Kittle at 7.9, Ferguson at 1.5. You have to figure that this is pretty open. A couple interesting things though. Dallas Goedert will not be playing. A guy who I've never seen, Calcaterra, coming in for the Eagles today. Sam Laporta out. A name that I can't pronounce, playing in for him. And then Michael Mayer, again, playing for Brock Bowers. So quite a few things to happen there. I would imagine that none of the guys in the top 3 will be safe. Wide receiver rounds out Jamar Chase 1, Justin Jefferson 2, Drake London 3, Jackson Smith-Njigba 4. You look at this list, this is the type of list that people probably would have expected over the course of the year. It's crazy that it took week 18 for Chase and Jefferson to be back on top, but there they are. Nico Collins rounds out at 6, just outside off the backs of Jaden Higgins. Looked good for a little while, ends pretty poorly. Tet McMillan sits there to round out that top of the list. How did we end up on AliExpress? That was crazy. Don't even know what just happened there. And then Michael Pittman in 9th with 4 points overall. That is where FDF ends. We'll look at one quick glance at the overall live scores. And then Sam, you have anything else before we end the show today?
Honestly, my only last piece is who you got in the last slate of games here. Chargers Broncos sounds like it's going to be the Broncos since the Chargers don't have anything to play for. Patriots Dolphins, probably the Patriots, right? Eagles Commanders, have to assume that the Eagles, I don't know if they're playing for seeding there. Chiefs Raiders, the Raiders could get beaten by a little kid in a Tonka truck. The Lions Bears, whatever. All it comes down to is Ravens Steelers, I think, right?
Yeah, it's Ravens Steelers. And then maybe the Pats game will be fun to watch just because some of the records. I think the Rams game will be fun to watch because some of the things that are on the line there. There's maybe a battle of MVP. But yeah, you're looking at the Ravens Steelers. What I'm going to do is, I told Sam this morning, I put in a chuck roast in that Dutch oven at 10 a.m. It's now 4:18. I'm going to go take that thing out, rest, and watch some football this afternoon. Been an insane 6 weeks. We appreciate you guys tuning in every week. It's been a lot of fun. You guys have been here through us trying to find our footing. I think what you'll see over the next little while is more output from the clipping side. You'll see us on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram a little more frequently. We're going to plan for what the offseason program will look like. You might see us for NBA basketball once that gets added to sport.fun. You're going to see us in the 2026 season. You'll see us one more time this year for a playoff game. Hopefully an entire playoff game. I think it'll be a lot of fun. Sam, I don't know if you've got anything else, but if not, we appreciate you guys turning into week 6, the final week of the NFL season.
Yeah, last thing for me, just a massive thank you to you guys for keeping us informed, keep us entertained. Steve Adler saying he's the #1 crown leader in YouTube for 5 weeks in a row. Absolutely insane. Ace has been super active as well. Andy Mack, really appreciate you, brother. Obi, Steve Adler. We got so many guys that have been hanging out with us, doing predictions and just having a ton of fun. And the amount that helps us get through the show and just enjoy the experience is tremendous. So Guillotine also checking in. Thank you, brother. Really appreciate you guys. Find the clips on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok, on Snapchat. Give us whatever support you can. Tell the FDF guys too that you enjoyed the show. That goes a tremendously long way, especially in the Discord, because they're always keeping an eye out there. If you want us to come back, feel free to let them know. Like I said, maybe next week, if not the week after, we'll be alive for our last show of the season. Steve saying, I am Ace. Ace is me. Touche. Professional gambler too. You've been practicing the last few weeks. Love all you guys. Thank you so much.
Peace, guys. Thank you. Enjoy the games this afternoon.